How you doing? Welcome to the, I guess, Out of Control Adventures Guild tonight. I'm Bleakseason, your GM, although I fear I have very little control over what's about to happen here tonight, and I would like to state here and now that I'm not to be held responsible for any shenanigans or any broken things. But tonight, we continue the five-part conclusion of the first season of the Shadesong Saga. This last saga is called In the Shadow of Our Pale Companion, which is the name of a song by Agalok, which is an incredible band who unfortunately don't exist anymore. It'll be played out over the next few weeks in 3 sections, plus a bonus interlude in the middle somewhere. Our saga tonight is Ophidian, episode 2 of 2, and features 4 of the villains that we've seen or heard about during the first season. You can catch up on everything that's come before tonight, as well as dine on some lore and background info by visiting my online journal at bleakseason.com. You can also watch Saga 7, The Well, Saga 8, Blackbird's Cry, and I think so far the first episode of Saga 9, Two for the Rope, on YouTube. The other episode should follow soon enough. Tonight's game takes place primarily in the city of Dawnfall, a sort of prison colony for supporters of the Necro King defeated 50 years ago. And playing a bunch of villains is always a rambunctious affair. And so I went out and got the most rambunctious players I could find. And then they died in an unfortunate accident involving a lawnmower. And so I went out and found even more rambunctious players. And these are the people that I've assembled here tonight. Peoples, let me introduce you to them. Look at these faces. Crime written all over them. Crime, naughtiness. How you doing, guys and gals? Look at that carafe. Is that blood in there? It is. Don't answer. The cops are going to...
I'm 21. It's
doing
fine.
Good.
Are you?
Doing good. Barely
hanging on. Super stoked to have you all. We're going to finish this game tonight. We're going to see what the bad guys get up to. You guys were amazing last game. And so I look forward to seeing what kind of weirdness you come up with here tonight. In fact, I haven't even written a storyline. I'm just going to sit back and sort of see where you go with it. That's how it's going to roll.
I cast fireball and everyone dies.
Again.
Counterspell.
How about we go around the table, guys, and you tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, who you're playing, and we will start with the Mandy tonight.
Oh, not me.
Yeah,
not
you.
Me. Hi, everybody. I'm Mandy, or the Mandy, as you know me all over the internet. I'm a professional dungeon master, D&D player, weirdo person, and I stream a lot too. Can check me out. We stream on Friday nights, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, Dungeons and Dinglings, and I am also currently casting for my next campaign that's going to start in January right now. So check me out on Twitter if you are interested in applying for Miss Lost.
Do you have a link you want to put in, or is the...
It's pinned to the top of my Twitter. So if you click on my Twitter page and chat there, you'll see it right away. Yeah,
it looks like it's fire. Like you're getting a lot of interest.
Yeah, I think I have 50 applications now.
Whoa. Amazing.
It's been open for 3 days. So
amazing.
Got a few weeks left. There's time to apply if you're really interested. Let's go.
Awesome. I look forward to watching that unfold. Thank you so much for being here, Mandy. I really appreciate it. You're amazing, and I'm super glad we got to get you into one of these things.
Thanks for having me. Thrilled to be here.
No problem. Speaking of thrilled, the man who has moved on from making flaming films to making truffle oil, or was it juice? The Flizzard. Sup, Omar?
Hello. My name is Flizzard, aka Omar. You might know me on Nat6 on Twitter. Average Joe, aka dude making dumb shit happen, and bunch of just fucking up everyone's D&D games, really, more or less. It's a good time. You can catch me at Nat6 on Twitter again and just kind of vibe out, talk shit, play video games. I mostly just like tweets, so if you like shitty memes, you just turn my likes on, and that's all it is now.
Are you gonna get that blue check?
That blue check? Oh man, I saw a person with 24 followers today with a blue check mark, and I'm just like, this is a bad investment. Like, this is like from top to bottom a waste of your fucking time.
Yeah. It's gonna get ugly before it gets better.
But the Blue Check Olympics will be beautiful until then.
Speaking of better before ugly, the man with the carafe and the critical role addiction, the Scoos. What's the news?
I mean, I can be summed up in those two. It's very essential features of my being. I love carafes, and I also do enjoy Critical Role. My name is Scoozy, and you can find me at Scoozy News on Twitter and stuff. Not super active on the social, but I'm still there. I am super excited to clown around tonight, and I say clown around because our as players, I feel like we're having a good old time, but our characters, man, I hate our characters. And it's so delightful.
You can just try to suck them all in.
Delightful.
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 I'll be in my bunk. Speaking of bunk, the woman always gets the top bunk. Go.
I don't know if I'm a top bunk girl, really, Bleak. I'm a sleepwalker, so yeah.
You get the broom closet.
Okay, fucking Harry Potter over here. Don't worry about me. Well, I'm Darling Creepshow, just your resident creep on Twitch, and I apparently live in a broom closet, and that's fine with me. It's probably where I belong. And if you turn the light on, I might scatter, but it's fine. I play TTRPGs like D&D, and I paint D&D miniatures, and you can find me all across the interwebs as Darling Creepshow. Tonight, I'm playing Gaithra Bloodclaw, and she is an Orcan woman she's based very heavily on honor, and she's kind of the strong, silent, might push your face in if you say the wrong thing kind of type.
She is indeed a very scary person. But that's how we like it. Thank you so much, one and all. Thank you for being back here. Thank you for hating your characters. I think it's healthy to hate the evil characters. But you guys do it so well, so I don't know what that says about you, but you do villains well. Thank you for being here. Thanks to everybody else for being here, joining us tonight. A few more words before we dive into this. I'd like to thank, of course, all the players. They're so awesome. Cranking up the Vile Darkness. I love it. I am the Bleakseason. You can find me at the Bleakseason on Twitter. I'd like to extend a few thanks to Andy, our producer, whom you don't see, but certainly whose presence you feel like a stalker in your room. Also to Miko for some of the artwork that I display in the sagas. Shout out to Tabletop Audio for the music, as well as Animated Dungeon Maps on Patreon for the gnarly map, including the one we saw last week of the bathhouse filled with blood and weird fleshy creatures. And Hero Forge for the minis. Special thank you to Dave and Ashley from the production team, as well as the members of the Superior Adventures Guild in our Discord playing our games, including the awesome players here, of course. Drop by our Discord, make yourself at home, and get into a game or two, and you too can be wild and rambunctious. Like my friends here. Wild. What is it? What's that meme? Insubordinate and churlish. That's how we roll. The four of you have, for reasons that are very much your own, sworn to a certain degree an allegiance to Fugue in exchange for giving you whatever it is that you want. You've done terrible things in Fugue's name so far, though most of you have been somewhat unsuccessful, thwarted here and there by those damn kids. You've been thwarted, except for Clavia, who was very successful in her own enterprise of killing the prince of the Magisterium, and so is Fugue's favorite right now, with her posh accent and all. You were asked by Fugue to travel to a city called Dawnfall, and there to recover a sword that supposedly belonged to Shadesong, who was some sort of entity that ran around the world, killing a whole bunch of people 500 years ago, and eventually was stopped and disappeared. You arrived in town. The town itself is built on a bunch of bridges. It's a grimy, dirty, smoke-filled, just a very sort of almost Victorian England kind of town with like soot everywhere and grit and dirt and just this grimy place. And at the bottom of, beneath the bridge, at the bottom of the lake, there is a mine there. And apparently there's been some concern because people were sort of worried about things going on in the mine, but that didn't impact you too much. You met the Duchess Scoria, who runs the place and who had found the sword and had basically put it up for auction for whoever wanted to show up and claim it. However, during some sort of eruption, part of the bridge collapsed, and part of that was the place where she kept all her goodies. And so the sword, amongst other things, disappeared. She gave you a tip that perhaps a bunch of red priests might have taken the sword, as they were always being a pain in her ass. You traveled to the bathhouse where you encountered said priests, as well as the sort of weird fleshy blood god thing that they were busy sacrificing to in the back room. You took care of that with some effort. And in the end, as you exited that room, still without a sword, you encountered a strange person who, a diavol like the Duchess, but entirely white with white horns, who told you that if you wanted the sword, you could always follow her and come talk to her. And so you find yourselves on the streets of Dawnfall, having just wiped the blood and the gore and the fleshy bits off of you from the encounter in the bathhouse. And you watch this this person. I have a portrait of her over here on the owlbear. Jump off from the tower on which she was perching. Thank you, Andy. Thank you very much. On which she was perching and bound off into the alleys behind. What would you like to do?
I believe I said at the end of last session that I was the first to follow.
Do the rest of you follow, or do you hang back?
And
Yeah, I run along.
I am prepared to cast command if it looks like she's not going to do what she says she's gonna do.
Okay. No problem.
Like
Everybody else?
if it looks like she's leading us into a trap, I'm going to command her.
It's a trap. No problem. Everybody
Yeah,
else?
I follow.
All right. As you're following her, she's not, she's really just kind of coming down to street level, leading you sort of around behind a couple of, maybe a few alleys behind. And as you are sort of trying to keep pace and find her, would you go ahead? Who's Mandy went first? Flizzard, would you go ahead and give me a initiative check?
An initiative check. Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
it's just
18.
all right, that's pretty good. So you're actually not taken too by surprise when, as you're passing by a wall of one building, it looks like perhaps a warehouse or something that's on that block. As you pass by it, suddenly out of the corner of your eye, you see like part of the wall seeming to disintegrate. And as you turn to see it and everybody else following behind, you see this huge grubby white worm made of like these brown fleshy sort of segments just sort of pop out of this wall. Its mouth is sort of round and filled with these sharp teeth, and it looks like it's been grinding and eating at the side of the wall. And you see it kind of flops out, and it's about like maybe this long, and it looks like it's going to flop down on you. And just as you react with your super high initiative, there's this gout of flame that shoots out from nearby you and hits this thing. And this thing, you can hear it scream. And Scoozy, you hear it scream inside your head, in addition to hearing it scream out loud. The rest of you just hear it scream out loud. And it falls to the ground and sort of rolls around as it's burning. And as you're stepping back, sort of taken aback by this, but you weren't caught too unawares by it. You notice this child, perhaps 12, 13 years old, dressed in these sort of leather overalls with goggles and what looks like a little pack with like a little container of something on the back, and a little like flamethrower, like sort of run up and hose this thing down and continue sort of burning it to a crisp. And as you stand there looking at it, this child looks at you and goes, "This one's mine. Don't you fucking take it."
I'm going to cast Firebolt.
At the child.
No, not at the child. At the corpse. I'm going to kill steal this grub.
No problem. You fire up your firebolt. It hits the thing. The thing explodes in this mass of gooey flesh and charred bits, and the smell is just like burning garbage. The smell is just entirely sort of disgusting. And as you do that, the child looks up at you. "What'd you do that for? That was mine, you filthy bastard." And then you can see that the child sort of wants to light you up with.
I'm cleaning up like blood and like guts off of myself. I'm like, yeah, it's actually a really good question. Why the fuck did you do that? Ugh.
I saved you, man. Should be a bit more thankful, like a gold thankful.
I just look at him and just scoff and I'm like, is this like a robbery?
I saved your life.
No, you were hunting. You said it yourself. You should be a bit more wise with your words.
Spits at your feet, turns around, skedaddles.
You know, Gaithra, if your personality was a town, would be here already. This place is revolting.
I believe you're wasting time. Can we continue?
Quick to blame me, but okay.
You continue around going, and as you go, you see down the alley, you see another scene very similar, and this other grubby kind of worm comes out of this wall, and you see this one child run over and sort of hose it down with the fire thing, and another one comes in and sort of hits it, and then they start arguing about who killed it first, and then they're punching each other, and then at some point one of them sort of throws the other one down and grabs the still burning thing of worm that's still kind of squirming and sort of runs off into another alley with it. You hear that one in your head too, Squeezy. No one wants to go worm hunting?
Would I recognize this as like stuff like really poor scavenger kids did to like scrap together cash or change or something like that? For
yeah, that's clearly what's going on. I mean, you've never seen a city where the very foundation and buildings of the city are being eaten by worms, but yeah, that's basically what it sort of looks like.
Well, this is certainly the strangest kind of poor I've ever seen.
And this figure is leading us kind of ignoring the worm hunting, the childish games that are happening around us. Yeah,
that's right.
I just nudge everyone along. I kind of look at them like, shall we continue or shall we admire the grotesque rock worms or whatever the fuck they are?
Clavia is straight up ignoring all this bullshit, and
you've kind of Clavia going up ahead.
Even if I hear anything happening behind me, I don't give a shit. They're all failures in my book, and if they go fuck off somewhere, it's not my problem.
You arrive, as you can see the scene on the Owlbear. You arrive in sort of a back alley. There's snow already that's sort of covered everything from a fresh fall. Not a lot of it, just enough to sort of frost over everything. The person that you were following is sitting on the corner there up on one of the walls that has partially crumbled down. Looks like maybe there used to be a house here, but it's all kind of crumbled down, and you can see here and there through it, remnants of these sort of worms and like charred husks sort of under some of the rubble of the area. And when you guys catch up, Clavia, you've been there already, and so as you arrive, Clavia, first you can see her sort of turn around and sit down on the corner there.
Okay.
And she goes, "Are your friends coming?"
They're taking their sweet time as per usual, but that's fine. I prefer to handle business quickly and directly. So,
Well, we can certainly see what we can do. My name is Beharit. You?
what did you say her name was?
Beharit.
Okay. The name is Clavia.
Pleasure to meet you, Clavia. I wanted to thank you for what you did in the bathhouse. These red priests have been a bit of a problem around here, and we simply don't have the means to take on organization like theirs. So I'm very grateful for what you've done for this city.
How grateful, precisely?
Well, grateful enough to tell you where you can find what you're looking for.
That's a start.
So I thought. Here come your friends. Did you have any problem with the wormies?
No problems, but I guess just disgusted, I guess. What is this, like the local hunting coral thing? Like, is this what the poor do?
Well, the worms themselves appeared a little bit less than a year ago. We only realized they were in town when buildings, and she kicks the wall that she's sitting on, started dropping for apparently no reason. And then we realized that the walls and the foundation.
Wait. Does this have anything to do with what we're looking for or why you brought us here?
No, but you asked me what those things were about.
Yes, I just realized. I thought it was like a simple thing. Oh, they do it for money or,
But they do. That's how they
just
make a living.
Never mind. Forget the whole thing. I'm so sorry. This was a waste of both of our times, more so mine. But continue.
I was just saying to your friend Clavia here that I greatly appreciate what you did for the city and the bathhouse. It's very rare that we have people with your abilities who are willing to help rather than hinder. Thank you very much. On the behalf of everyone who unfortunately lives here, thank you.
Darkness suffers no rivals.
That's pretty creepy, sir.
And she'll hear in her head, thank you.
That's
Yes.
not wrong.
Well, she hops down from the wall. I don't suppose you would have it in you to want to give us a hand with other such problems. The city could use a group of people such as yourselves to help it through the darker days.
That depends.
On?
I prefer to have the information I came for first, before making any decisions or pacts with you.
I'm just afraid that once I tell you where the sword can be found, that you'll have no more inclination to talk with me.
Well, there are other ways I could get the information out of you, but I prefer that it be a pleasant interaction.
Mm-hmm.
If you get in my way of what I want, then not only will you not get what you want, but there may be a problem here.
I have no intentions of getting in your way.
Good, then tell me what I want to know, spit it out, and then I will hear whatever sob story you have and see what I have to say about it.
I'm sorry, I guess perhaps you're not the kind of people I thought you were. More's the pity.
Well, you know what they say
really
about
easy.
making assumptions.
What kind of people did you think we were?
Kind of people who help other people in need. Who protect those who can't protect themselves. I guess. Not.
No.
Like adventurers or something. This man thought he just would have 4 people just come up of various great power, just be like, oh, we've accrued all of this through sheer benevolence and kindness, and just drop it off here.
It's never too late to change. I just thought perhaps no one had ever given you an opportunity to do better, but I guess if doing better is not what you're after.
Or hubris.
Go ahead.
Nope. Your hubris outgrows even that of Darkath.
Aethra's gonna step forward and look the woman up and down, kind of scrutinizing her, only slightly. And then look back to her companions, and with a sigh, she's gonna say to her, please. My companions don't always exhibit couth. But you must admit we have done something for you. Seems as though we have taken care of a rather large problem. If you could please help us with acquiring the sword. Perhaps if I can't convince all of them, I could help you further on things that you need. And she's going to give her a nod.
Well, I guess that's a better offer than I've had in quite some time. The person who hired me to steal the sword lives up there, and she turns around and she points, and you can see that near the center of the city, there's this very tall building that's quite damaged and sort of, fallen into disrepair. But it looks like it was probably at some point some sort of temple, and up above, several floors up, there's this sort of large balcony that looks like it, overlooks the city, that sort of hangs over it. And you can kind of make out there's a statue up there and there are some lights. She points towards that. She goes, whoever it is that hired me to steal this weapon you're after is up there. I was hired to steal it. And then I was told to bring it and deposit it at the bottom of the tower that leads up there. And then I was told to pay attention to whoever came looking for it and to make sure that whoever did could find it.
And what do you know of this person who hired you? The mysterious person who lives in the tower?
Nothing. I never saw him, only heard his voice. He didn't pay me much either, but he said that whoever would come looking for this thing was bound to be someone of power, and perhaps they would be interested in helping me with my job. He said that he couldn't promise it, but I figured a chance was better than nothing, so I took it. In any case, if you go down the alley here, all the way to the end and turn left, you'll find the entrance to the old bell tower. There are probably guards there. You'll want to be careful, but if you climb that tower all the way to the top, you'll find the person who hired me to steal it and to tell you about it.
Why do you seek to save this city?
I don't care about the city. I care about some of the people in it. You saw what those children have to do to survive. I don't think any child should have to do anything like that to survive. Just because they happen to have had the ill fortune to have been born here doesn't mean they should suffer such a fate. I simply try to alleviate some of the pain, but when the entire city is against you, it makes it quite difficult. But none of your concern, I'm sure. Thank you, though, for what you did in the bathhouse. You can at least die knowing you helped once. Down that alley.
You think I can die? And Noir will just sort of like peter off kind of away from the group, like chuckling and like kind of fixated on this tower.
She'll climb back up on top of it. And then she'll look back at you guys and go, it truly is never too late to make a change. Good luck with whatever it is you're trying to do here. But be careful, this place has much more malignancy in it than even appears at first blush. The entire place is evil.
Can I insight check her? Like, she's telling us all about this job. She already got paid for it and is just giving us the information to move forward with doing the job. She's just gonna fuck off with the money, or with the money that she got, and just be done? Or like,
What?
why would someone who apparently needs the money so bad just
She
drop
said
this
that
job?
She said she wasn't getting paid money. She said that she was paid basically with the chance that the people who would come to look for the sword might be willing to help her. That's
That wasn't clear. It sounded like you
Sorry.
said that she wasn't paid much, but also that part.
No, that's what she was paid. Sorry.
So she's going to come with us?
No, she's leaving. Unless
okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Unless
never
you do
mind. I misunderstood. I was going to say, if she got paid for this already or is expecting to get paid, like, why would she just give this to us?
No,
So if she's not being paid, then it makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
She did her job. This was her job, and she had her chance to find people who could help, and she'll run off along the wall.
Oh, before she runs off.
Yeah.
Gaithra is going to look up to her and say, Beharit, where might I find you?
Usually around here.
All right.
If you need, just call out my name. There's always people watching in the city. And she runs off, and for a brief moment, you'll see a few flickers, different places around this area of other people sort of moving and disappearing off over rooftops and such.
Gaithra is going to look to her companions and say something about this smells off. We're expected. Perhaps a trap.
Almost indefinitely a trap.
Oh,
It would be a foolish move for them not to set a trap. So I'd be surprised if they did not.
Noir's going to lean on his staff and say, unless we did such a good job convincing them we meant them no harm.
They mentioned that they want someone to help them as well, I think, with their problem. Is that right? Whoever had the sword here? Or is it just this person? No, that just left.
I'm sorry, I'm not following.
Sorry, did they say, the person who gave us information, did they say that the sword was being left here for people to find to also help the person who got the sword?
Basically, the indication is that whoever hired her to steal the sword wanted to use it to lure people of power here.
Oh, okay. Well,
not necessarily you specifically, although I guess that's possible, but there was no indication of that. But she was told specifically to wait for people to look who were looking for the sword and then to send them to the tower.
Either it's a trap and we try to sneak around it, or it's a trap and we just spring it, or it's truly just another desperate person. And what's a rather desperate place already? Maybe it's something else altogether.
I say we go in and act as though we are eager mercenaries. And then when they are either unsuspecting or attempting to kill us, it's no surprise that we'll immediately be able to defend ourselves. We can't be surprised if we are expecting them to turn on us. But if they are as foolish as that individual who was just here, then pretend to be mercenaries, so wait until they let their guard down, and kill them. Get them out of the way, because they also want the sword.
No, they have the sword. It's just a matter of whether they know to use it or not.
I think I'm confused. I thought the person at the end of the alleyways is the one who wants the sword.
Where is the sword?
And that we're supposed to go steal it from the tower.
No, they don't want
Am I
the sword.
understanding that correctly?
No, so the
Very confusing.
sword originally belonged to, well, the Duchess men found the sword originally, and then the Duchess put it on auction, and then Fugue wanted it, so she sent you here. And then the sword was stolen. And now you're finding out that the person who hired the person who stole the sword did it very specifically to lure people of power here. That person at the top of the tower has the sword, presumably.
So then who's the person at the end of the alleyways?
No, at the end of the alleyways, it's just the tower to go up.
The entrance of the tower.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nora's gonna start walking towards the tower entrance.
Aethra's gonna follow.
Time like the present. Continue.
And Clavi, you'll hear in your head, so, am I a kind mercenary, or a mean mercenary, or an eager mercenary?
Well, I'll let you know when we get there. Is my mental response.
And that is followed in your head, Noir, by a different voice that says, "You are home. You can do whatever you want and be whoever you want."
Has Noir ever heard this voice before?
Yeah, your patron.
Fuck yeah. All right. It doesn't happen very often,
yeah.
right? This is not a common occurrence. I don't hear from.
No, he's kind of a laissez-faire patron.
Oh, cool. You'll see Noir's face like relax and his eyebrows go up. And like just like a small tear rolls down one cheek. You've never seen Noir, and it's like black and like hissing little smoke.
Oh, we love an absentee father. Oops, sorry, that was too silly for this game.
Yeah, so
Are you all right? Are you fine?
I am fine. Yes, this is all fine. Everything is fine.
I don't really see many. Can I just say, like, yeah, I guess just I don't see many dead people cry. I don't know.
You are so attached to your labels, living or dead or alive or breathing or not breathing. It doesn't matter.
While they're talking, Gaethra's just like, this is absolutely fucking absurd. And she's just going to move around them and start taking lead towards the tower.
And as you approach the tower, basically where this temple used to be, most of it, as I said, is quite fallen into disrepair, and people have stolen things off it. But there's this tower that's kind of built alongside it that goes all the way up and looks like it used to be a bell tower. As you approach it at the base, you notice that there's a couple of troll guards inside on one of the higher levels. You can, if you want, attempt to sneak by them, or you can try to do something else, up to you. But the tower itself is pretty damaged. Also, at the base of it, when you look through the door, because there's no door, there's just sort of an entryway, there's this fallen bell that has basically fallen from several floors up. So it's all kind of crushed and kind of flattened on one side, and it's just lying there, and there's just all this ash and debris and snow now on top of it that's sort of covering it. It looks very sad, actually. And then there's a spiral sort of stone stairwell around the inside of the tower that goes up, and on one of the higher levels, like the next floor up or something, you can see from outside where you are two of those troll guards. It's quite possible you might be able to sneak past if you want, or kind of walk past, since they're not in the tower per se, but I'll leave that up to you to decide what you want to do.
Would you say that there's bats in the belfry?
I
can't help myself.
Well, I would definitely say that Bela Lugosi's dead, and he's not in there.
Nailed it. So the entrance to this tower, there's guards there, or they're just up in the tower?
No, they're up in the tower.
Okay.
Yep.
And they're kind of like looking outwards.
Yeah, they sort of move around a little bit. You get the feeling they're just there to discourage further looting of the place. They kind of move around a little bit. You see them go in the tower sometimes. So back out.
Okay.
They're mostly like really cold and kind of stamping their feet. And there's a little, looks like a coal fire or something outside. So they kind of tend to hang around that. And once in a while, one goes in to sort of check if there's anyone messing around in the tower.
And there's more, they're trolls.
Yeah, they're trolls like you saw at the door.
Okay.
How many?
Gaithra,
You see two of them. When
Just
you approach the thing in the snow, you can see hoof marks like Beherit that you were just talking to at hooves, also like the Diavok have hooves. And so you can see steps of hoof marks that go inside the tower up to where the bell is, and then come back out. But you can't see inside just yet. You have to decide how you want to approach it.
Gaithra's going to turn to whoever is caught up with her at this point,
Probably
and
me.
relay the information of the two guards, where they stand, and these hoof prints that she sees. The way I see it, we can attempt to sneak. And then she looks at Clavia and says, though I fear the paladin is not suited for such a thing. Or, and something I would take personal pleasure in, we kill the guards.
What were they going to do to us? I say we kill them.
All in favor?
Can't just have one person stealthing.
Well, I mean, theoretically, I could stealth, but with this armor, it would be difficult.
Should we just bring them down then? Shall we ring the bell?
I say we go inside, make our way up. I can lead.
So you step in
Oh,
or
Do
not?
I was trying to see if I have pass without a trace yet. I don't think I'm high enough level for that.
You should.
I should?
Yeah, because I have a paladin in their game and he's 5th level and he has it. So I'm assuming you should have it.
Hold, please.
Can I see, like, hold on a second. How far away are these trolls? Like, if we're
They're like a floor up. They're like a floor up, basically.
Would you say they're like within 30 feet?
Roughly, sure.
Cool. I'm gonna cast Tasha's Hideous Laughter on one of these motherfuckers.
perfect.
Oh, Jesus.
I love it.
Just one of them while everybody's like talking about being stealthy. You're just gonna see Noir like kind of like sigh, but he sighs
Oh, it's
backwards,
paladins.
like he just and then
Paladins
like
Don't get
Ties in instead of out.
yeah, and he's going to you'll see the staff kind of the eyes of the snake light up for a second, and he'll cast Tasha's Hideous Laughter on whichever one's the closest to the window as like they're walking past. So that is a wisdom save of 16. And trolls are the wisest creatures that we've ever met, I think,
Right?
in this.
Are they really, though? Are they really?
Unless they have an intelligence under 4, then they're not affected at all. But I don't think.
No, they have to have a higher level intelligence than that because they have speech.
Yeah, and they made lewd comments, and that takes an intelligence.
Well,
of
I
at
rolled a
least 6.
5, so that's obviously not sort of happening. So as you're upstairs, you just start hearing one of them start laughing. Big belly laughs. Like you just heard the best joke ever. So much that he almost like starts cuffing and sputtering. And the other one's like, Rolf, what's wrong with you? The hell's wrong with you? And then you hear like a bonk, like someone slapping someone upside the head, but they have a helmet that's boing. Are you all right? What's happening? And rah, rah, rah. What do you do?
The bell's on the bottom floor, right?
You can check the map if you want.
Oh, okay.
Can
Oh,
we
okay.
see them in the window or in this?
Yeah, because they're like
open-
there's it's because on the next floor up, there's like the top of a rampart kind of thing, and they're standing there, and they just kind of go in and out of the tower. But right now, one of them's laughing his ass off on top of that rampart.
Gaithra's instantly excited that Noir did this. And she kind of gets this little shit-eating grin on her face. And I would like to cast Firebolt at the one that's trying to stop the other one from laughing.
All right, do it to hit.
All right.
Do it to hit, or is it a?
Do what? That's a 16.
That hits, and you're throwing it at the one that's laughing or not laughing.
The one that's not laughing.
All right, so the firebolt rushes up, hits the other one. His hair catches on fire. He's like, "What the?" And he's like, and the other one just laughs harder, pointing at him. And you can tell he's concerned about his friend, but he's just laughing his ass off, just pointing at him and going, "Are you okay, man? What's wrong with you? Let me." Just laughing his ass off.
She's going to turn back to her companions and say, I feel they're quite distracted now. If we move swiftly, perhaps we could push them off the tower.
I like this idea.
I'll totally say that if you gang rush up there.
Yeah.
You'll
As soon as someone says, like, yeah, let's do it, Gaithra is already just like through the door and just rushing up the stairs. Again, she hates trolls with a passion.
So you come up and you get on the landing, and one of them's still laughing, like he's on his knees now, slamming his fist. The other one has taken off his helmet and he's using huge handfuls of snow to try and put out the fire, and his back's to you, and he's kind of like near the wall. If you want, you can just kind of come up to him and.
Yeah, she's just gonna give one nice shove.
Guy, don't fly. And he boom, lands at the bottom, and you see he's not dead, but like he hits pretty hard, and he's like not moving, and you see like blood has shot out of his mouth into the snow. The other guy thinks it's the funniest thing he's ever seen. He's laughing even harder as he's trying to pull out his sword to try and kill you. He's laughing. Who comes up next?
Oh, I'm definitely right on her heels to get rid of the next one.
Tell me how you do it.
So Gaithra went for the one that's not laughing.
Yeah, that's right. The other one's like on his knees trying to pull his sword out of its scabbard and still laughing.
So I'm gonna go for that one. And I'm gonna basically like try to like shoulder check, like full body shove him over.
You come running and you kind of go in low so that you get in under him a little bit, and then you kind of pick him up with your shoulder.
I have a +4 to strength. Let's go.
And you run him up against the Merlin on the side of the wall, and he kind of just tips over, and all you hear is
I think I watched this whole thing happen, right? From Gaithra like shooting a firebolt and then just bolting up there with Clavia, and I'm still like by the doorway essentially, just watching all this crazy shit happen. And I think as they're coming down, I'm just kind of like taking petty shots at them with firebolt as they're coming down. Just like double tap.
As you finish firebolting them as they fall to the ground, you turn around and you see there's like a bunch of kids there just sort of looking at you with their little flamethrowers and looking at the trolls and then looking at you and, are you gonna eat that?
Noir is gonna step forward at this moment and like dip his hands into their like the trolls' calves and like try to get them with this necrophage a little bit if they're still alive.
Yeah, they're still alive. They're circulating. So what do you say, Darkath, when the kids do you say anything? Then when the kids are like, are you gonna eat that?
Do I have enough knowledge to realize that Nora's doing that? Like,
yeah, that's why you've been enough with him that you know that that's what he's doing.
well, you don't want good food going to waste at any point, right?
well, we're not going to eat it. We're not crazy. And they go over and they kind of keep an eye on Noir, and they start taking the stuff off them, the belts and the leather and the boots and whatever's not completely charred, as these two things are kind of crawling on the ground, and you can see the black veins from the necrophage starting to sort of spread throughout their body. It's only a matter of time before the entire neighborhood gets it now.
Wait, who are you feeding by chance?
Not feeding anyone. We're just taking the stuff, mate. And they grab whatever they can and they skedaddle on out of there.
Okay, so they are selling it, I hope.
Hey, give me that one. You got the left boot last time. I see one kid running around with just a right boot.
Make sure to examine the meats too, right? Just really make sure you got a full piece, you know? You don't want to get...
They're not eating the trolls.
No, they're not eating it, but, you know, they should at least get their hands on all that good necrophage. Have their hands in them.
So evil.
Upstairs, Gaithor's going to turn to Clavia and say, well, whoever's home knows we're here now.
Might as well proceed as though we are expected.
So you climb up, and it's actually kind of a climb. There's several floors of it. The only one who's not wheezing now, you're all in great shape. You manage to get upstairs. When you arrive upstairs, you see this, the image I put on the map there. You see basically this sort of balcony that overlooks the city. By the time you get up there, darkness has started to fall around the city, and you can see the fires, the cooking fires and whatnot in the city, and the smoke that's just rising. It's kind of difficult to see. You're not very far. You're maybe like 7 or 8 floors up, but when you look down, because of just the smoke and all that griminess that floats over the city, it's kind of hard to see the buildings. You just kind of see the pinpoints of fires here and there, and you can hear the sounds of the city kind of wafting up a little bit and kind of reaching up. And you arrive on this floor, stepping out of the tower over here.
Okay.
You're a little small there. Let me fix the map a little bit. You're looking a little small on that map.
I mean, you can make us bigger.
Yeah, but then I'm just going to have to readjust it all the time, so.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Much better. Darkcast has disappeared. So what do you do as you arrive up on here? There's, a couple of fires burning, lighting the place up. Up here, that sort of smog that's hanging over the city is just below you. So you're kind of for the first time sort of above it. But you can clearly smell the cooking fires and the coal fires and all that are burning and sort of reaching up towards where you are. There are a couple of grates, as you can see, door grates on the side, but they seem to be closed. Here and there are random bits of blood splatters that are dried. You're pretty sure there's like a body sticking out from under the stairs there at one angle, but it looks like it's been chewed pretty thoroughly by rats, so it's probably been there for quite a while. The place just looks run down and, very, very desecrated. If this was a temple back in the day, you look at that statue and you have zero clue who that statue is for, and none of it rings any bells for you. And it's just this really desolate, sort of ugly place.
These large, twisted, vine-looking things with the spikes, what's that all about?
So when you approach those things, you can see that they're sort of moving and pulsing, and what they appear as you look close, you can see something moving inside, and you see the outline of some of those worms that you've seen down in the city earlier, sort of moving through it. They appear to be sort of conduits for these worms as they're sort of moving around the whole place.
So they're like wrapping around the building?
No, they're inside the walls. So it looks like the worms, as they burrow, or
Mhm.
secreting something that's creating these sort of cocoonish tunnels of, weird sort of sticky material as they tunnel through the different walls. So it looks like that's what they're doing as they're eating their way through the city, basically.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty disgusting, actually.
Are they eating like they're actively eating this tower too? They're not leaving this tower alone for any reason?
No.
Hmm.
In fact,
Because-
it looks like this is pretty old. So it looks like this was probably one of the points where they started back in the day.
Aethra's making her way down the
No way.
stairs to this main floor. Does she see anything like back in this like nook between the stairs once she gets down here?
You look there, and at first the only thing you see there is like a pile of refuse. There's like junk and bits and pieces of different things kind of just making a little mound there. But as you start approaching, you see it moving. This mound kind of moves, and as you watch it a little longer, some of the junk sort of falls off, and you realize there's a creature there that was sort of hiding out under these things, kind of covering itself perhaps against the cold, because it's quite cold up here at this height and this temperature, and slowly extricating himself from this pile of junk and refuse. You see this fancy fellow.
As he's moving out, I instantly draw my great axe.
When this creature pulls himself out from
Great.
the pile of refuse, you see he's got, at first blush, he looks a little bit like the Diavol that you saw earlier, but then once you get a better look at him, you realize it's not at all the same thing. As far as the Diavol go, they have horns and sort of hoof-like feet also, but they're clearly much more human looking. Anyone can do an Arcana check?
Ooh, all Arcana. I did not
Do I have
Arcana well. 14.
I will Arcana. 15.
Do it. 15.
I'm not proficient, so I don't.
Oh, do you
assume I should
require
roll.
proficiency or?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Oh,
I will
boy.
Noir. No, sorry. I guess Noir is not rolling the dice. I will roll a very haughty Arcana check, and that's a 26.
Ooh.
Ooh.
So you've read about creatures, Noir, called fauns, that are they're mythical creatures. Like a lot of stories are about them being, sort of tricksters and things like that in a lot of the stories. Never really evil, just sort of out to cause chaos and sort of mayhem. And that's the first thing you think of when you see this creature sort of get out, as it's got a much more bestial sort of looking face, and sort of ears and disposition. But the next thing that you notice is that moving under its skin are like black striations that move, and it's kind of like the necrophage. So the necrophage is clearly the veins that are infected that start to appear black, but here it's kind of like there are like vast sort of swaths of necrophage just sort of moving under its skin all over its body and down. And as it gets up, you hear in your head, Noir, "Oh, that's interesting. You would do well to listen to what this one has to say, but I'll leave it up to you to decide what you wish to do with it."
Is it one of yours?
No, not yet. So as you stand in this thing, it's finally someone comes. I was starting to lose faith that anyone would find a sword interesting enough to climb all the way up here. It's a pleasure to meet you this fine night. Who do I have the honor of addressing?
Gaithra's gonna put her great axe back onto her back and step forward and say, "My name is Gaithra Bloodclaw, and I would like to know how you have acquired this sword."
Well, simple. I asked someone to bring it to me. Isn't that what you do when you want something?
And why do you wait here for us?
I have need of you. But
What
not
need?
specifically. Just whoever would show up, which happens to be you.
What need?
Oh, my name is quite simple, really. I need to get out of this city.
That's
Bloodclaw,
like
you say.
the first reasonable request someone's made in this
Oh.
city.
I'm a very reasonable person. Bloodclaw, you say?
Yes. What
You
of it?
from the crags.
Why do you ask?
Oh, I know a few people there. It was a while ago. They may not be there anymore. Still, good people.
Why should I help you from this city?
Well, I certainly wouldn't wish to impose on your kindness. I assume that the one named Fugue has sent you here.
How do you know of Fugue?
Oh, I've had my run-ins with that little bitch.
Darkath perks up immediately upon hearing her name.
Elaborate.
You work for her, do you?
Answering a question with a question.
Well, you ask questions of people, and that's how you find out things about them. That's how, the world goes around, exchange of information.
Who's going to hear in her head, this is a conversation. That's how it works.
Then perhaps answer my question, and I will exchange an answer for you.
Anything for an Orcan.
Elaborate. How do you know Fugue?
Well, a little while ago, half a year perhaps, I was roused from my slumber, which was very rude, I thought. I was quite enjoying it. My rest, well-deserved it was. But I was roused from it by someone who had a plan, someone who had a vision, someone who needed my help and my creation. He looks at his hand and you can see the necrophage is just moving through him. This person was very interesting, short, feeble looking, a little female human. Came to me. Oh, master, I have need of your powers. I have need of your abilities. If you would like to gain vengeance on those who have wronged you, I can help you. And like a fool, I'd been sleeping for a while. I was a little addled. You can imagine what it is. Sleep for a few hundred years. Things start to get a little blurry around the edges, you see. I followed her. Off to Kettleheim we went. Off to where the Jotuns and the giants and all that riffraff live. She brought me to the underground. She showed me this beautiful orchard. Golden apples, beautiful. And she asked if I could, perhaps, spoil them for her. Well, I did. It's what I do. I spread my little babies throughout the entire orchard. The entire thing turned black, rotten. spoiled, infected, very beautiful. Then she took these apples and she fed them to the Titans, and they became corrupted and they fell under her sway. And, well, I thought everything was going swimmingly. But then she did what I guess she does best. And perhaps this can be my first gift to you. A warning. She stabbed me in the back. She was done with me, you see. Didn't need me anymore. I'd done my part. Gave me this human girl named of Saga, something or other. Said, here, hold her for me while I go and take care of some thing or other up in Kettleheim with the Titans. And what but a group of entitled do-gooders show up, armed with this spear that has the power of the sun. Laid a what for into me. Gone. Finished. I should have stayed sleeping. But she had what she wanted. She had the cursed apple. She had my necrophage in her hands. Lord knows what she's been doing with it. And now here I am, stuck here because I was stupid enough to make another deal with another bitch. So, if you could help me, I'd certainly appreciate it. To prove what a good sport I am. All these people making deals with you, they all want something, right? They're all like, oh, please, do this, do that, and then serve me. And then you agree, and then you serve them, and you spend your life on your knees serving this person, serving that person, you there, serving your father, serving the Empire, serving the Legion, now serving Fugue. You, points at Darkath. You think you have a cause? You think you have people to stand up for? No, you're a servant. You're just the same. You want power? She holds it over you. Here's the power you want. But first, before you have it, before you can get this power of death and lay waste to all the living around you, you must do what I want. You, we would like to go back to the old ways. We would like to bring back the strength to our people, the way things used to be. Well, let me tell you something, sister. I was there back in the old days. You're not getting back there by being on your knees to this thing. Then he looks at Noir. I have no fucking clue who you are or what you want. But I like you. I sense a kinship.
You can see Noir's face just like convulse and like twitch, and his eyes kind of like twitch away for a second before locking in, and just leans on his staff.
Very well put. My offer to you, I will give each of you what you want. And all I ask in return is that you kill the Duchess and let me out of here. You will not serve me. I will not ask you to follow me or to bend the knee to me or to do my bidding. Once I've given you what you want and I am free of the city, you can go out and do whatever it is that you want. Accomplish whatever you want to accomplish. Kill who you want to kill. Fuck who you want to fuck. The world's yours. I just need you to kill the Duchess so that my oath to her not to leave this place dies with her.
Who are you?
Well, sister, back in the old days, they called me the Black Blood. But I like Ermunaz myself.
Do I know of the other names for Shadesong?
There are no other names for Shadesong. There's one, Dodd, which means death.
Okay.
I would have picked up on this though, right? Like that Shadesong, I guess.
On what?
I would pick up that he's on Shadesong, right? Like it's not like eluding me or anything like that, right?
I don't know. I don't know that. What makes you think he's Shadesong? The fact that he's got the necrophage?
That would be his guess, I think.
Okay.
And that he said that few came to him.
Also, he was sleeping a long time.
Yeah. I think as this person is talking, a slow grin keeps crawling across Darkcast's face, and it continues to become more eccentric. And I think after he's done speaking, he looks up and says, I can't speak for the rest of the allies that I'm walking around with today, but I can tell you for sure that your words definitely do not fall on unwanting ears, and I'm sure many of us here would like to at least entertain the thought of helping you, or maybe potential partnerships later, or arrangements if it's something that you're interested in.
What I want to know is, what assurances do you have that you can even give us what we want?
Well, if it's proof of my power that you want, you should ask that one over there. She would know. And he looks at Gethra.
What, yeah, tell me what I know. I'm all ears.
Didn't you read that message that I sent you just before the game?
I did. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
Now this changes everything. People, when your GM sends you a note just before the game and says, read this,
Thank you.
read it.
But it's what my character would do.
Shut up, Dick.
Oh my god.
I'm a little diminished right now. Just circumstances, you understand. That and Fugue's betrayal. But this place is interesting to me. I think I'd like to spend a bit more time here. It's been a while since I've been out and about. But she'll know. Look at her. She knows exactly what I can do.
I look, the look on my face is just, I would say there's always a tinge of anger in my face that never leaves. I'm a little bit bewildered by this as well. Do any of you ask me anything? Because she's not going to say anything straight out.
Clavia will definitely speak up and say, well, out with it. What do you know? I'm getting tired of these word games. Give me one good reason why I shouldn't just end him here now. I don't have the time or the patience for this. We need the sword, and we need to move on. So unless you have a reason why not, speak up. Please, Gaethra.
He is my creator. He is the Orcan god. And if you wish to see our world ravaged in war and death, then I say we let him free. You are mistaken, Black Blood, on what I want or what you think I may want.
Am I?
I don't seek those ways.
Could have fooled me.
There is no honor in senseless killing.
Daddy's little rebel.
She snaps her head at you. Do not mention my father.
I'd be careful if I was you, Grayskin. She has a temper.
I've learned to skirt it a little bit. It's like a sport.
Is it a creator or a father? Which one is it?
He is a
the deity.
creator. He is a deity. He brought us Orcans to life. These are the stories I know of an old world.
Not just you, them too, pointing at Clavia. And the short ones who dig in the mountains. That was me too. I was busy back in the day as sowing all sorts of seeds.
But okay, so table talk, Bleak.
Yo,
The Imperium has really no belief in divinity.
none whatsoever.
None at all. So like I'm a hardcore atheist. Like to me, whatever.
Science is the way.
Science is the way, and this is all bullshit.
That's right.
And now I'm being told that I'm standing in front of this thing that I firmly believe does not exist.
That's right. Do you want to disbelieve?
Yes.
He's still there.
I knew you were going to say that, but it's still fucking funny. Clavia, I think in all her endless arrogance is going to step forward to this black blood creature.
He's a little taller than you. He's about like, he's nearing 7 feet tall. Like he's pretty tall, but he's kind of scrawny.
Do I, with my command of what could be considered divine magic, really the divine magic of myself, would I, with my command of magic in general, feel the kind of presence that he evokes as a deity?
You don't feel any sort of deity-like power. Like, it's clear there's some power emanating from him. It's very unsettling. You're clearly, it's kind of like not quite on the level of what you feel when you're near Fugue, for example. Like Fugue definitely seems to be much more in possession of her power, and but this thing, you can feel the ancientness, the ancient power that lies just underneath. And like he says, he's diminished, and you can kind of feel that, but you can also feel how old and how far back that power reaches. And it's not without being impressive to a certain degree, but you certainly would not in any way, shape, or form say, I'm standing in front of a god. That's not something that your mind would go to.
If you are what you say you are, I'm not impressed.
Well, people seldom are. But what matters is not what you think of me, but whether or not we can reach an arrangement. You want the sword, you can have the sword. I really don't care for the sword. I can't even touch the damn thing. You can have it. You can go back to Fugue. You can do whatever you want. I just really need you to kill the Duchess. She has this thing, this object called Depter's Anguish. When you swear an oath on that, you can't break it. And unfortunately, I was bamboozled into swearing on it, so I'm stuck here. But there's another presence here. There's something else in this town that makes me uncomfortable. And so I would rather not be here.
Noir steps up a little bit to the balcony. He has not like stepped forward. Like y'all are, I don't know where Clavia and Gaithra are.
Yeah, I can't really see the board because of the picture.
Oh yeah, I'll take it off.
I think I was at the bottom of the stairs with Gaithra. Or
You can,
nearly there.
Yeah, you can position yourself wherever you like. I'll just put him on the board here with...
Okay. Yeah, so I would say at this point, I'm probably standing right here. Or maybe even here, yeah.
Noir has made his way like partially down the stairs and like stopped a couple times in this conversation and like taken a couple steps and then like stopped and then like eyebrows up for this whole time and kind of just looks over and says, You are stuck here. We could just leave, and you would be stuck here forever. Or for the lifespan of the Duchess, yes?
Sure.
Tell me. Go ahead, excuse.
Oh,
Omar, sorry.
all good. I hear that you guys have a lot of passion, I guess you could say it, for our feud here. A lot of reluctance, a lot of support for her, and it makes me wonder whether or not they're as motivated as you all claim to be. I think right here, everyone, we have an opportunity to sow a little discord under her thumb. I think we have a chance to start the inevitable reckoning that our lovely boss has secured for herself. I'm sure none of us here are exactly best friends with her.
She's a little detestable, yes.
And we have the source of the power that a lot of us are very interested in anyway. And even if we don't act on it now, and even if we kill the Duchess, get the sword, and write our own tale about it back home to Fuge, then what's the problem? What's the harm? If you are opposed to it, then you can wash your hands clean of it. Say it wasn't you, you weren't involved. We still get the sword, our job is done, everyone's happy. And if you want to be a part of it, then, any other special considerations that you want to make can be made. There's no reason we can't all have our cake and eat it too, right? Unless there's some moral boundary that I haven't considered from one of our perspectives.
I want to know of this oath with the Duchess.
When she found me deep in the mines below, I was quite weak in the attack on me. Fugue's treachery had left me but a pale shadow of myself, and unfortunately, before she would allow me to leave and get out of that forsaken hole, I had to swear a few things. I'm not going to go into details because I don't need you all mucking about with it, but suffice it to say that I am operating currently within the bounds of my oath, but that I cannot act directly against her, nor can I leave this city.
Why would Fugue want you gone?
Who knows what lurks in that twisted mind? Fugue needed my necrophage. She needed me to lure those annoying little gnats away from her. And so when she was done with me, she sacrificed me. Now, do you really think that she sent you here because she cares about you?
I know she doesn't.
Have you all been very successful lately for her?
It is because of her that I failed.
I'm offering you the same thing I'm asking of you. Emancipation. I'm not asking to be your boss, your god, your lover, well, we can always arrange that, but I'm not asking.
Gaither sneers at that.
I am simply offering you what I ask in return and giving you a little extra on top.
The sword, why is it so important to her?
She has designs, I would imagine. If it is Shadesong's sword, I imagine that it has to do with him.
And what will you do when you are free?
Well, I'll start by bringing myself up to speed. I'm sure the world has changed quite a bit since the last time I was here. I've had an unfortunate habit of seeing mostly tunnels since I've awoken. I would so like to walk again, breathe some fresh air, see the mountains, the forests. Those things are still there, right? Because I can't see them from here. This place is pretty disgusting, but those things are still there.
They are.
Ah, bless
Wow.
me. I simply want to be free. I do not have a habit of forcing people to make deals they don't want to make.
You said there is a power in the city that makes you nervous.
There is. You would know about it.
Has it been here the whole time that you've been awake?
The whole time I've been awake, yes, but not the whole time the city has been here. It's something that came to it some hundreds of years ago, but it is the reason why the city is the way it is. This genius loci, the spirit of this place, infests everything and everyone who comes here. Well, most everyone. There's still a couple of people who think they can escape it, but you see this, and he points at the vines and the worms. It's eating the very city from the inside out. It's consuming everything that is here. There's a hunger that is vile and black and ancient that resides in this city, and I want no part of it. You may feel free to bask in its vileness if you wish, sir. I have no desire. I've seen more than enough vileness in my time.
Noir's gonna walk up next to Gaithra. Has like just finally kind of stumbled down the stairs and
The
like,
old
this
man
awkward-
walk.
Well, it's more like a couple of steps and then like a deep inhale and like he's like thinking about a lot of shit right now.
Hmm.
And he's gonna make his way next to Gaithra and just in your head, and just kind of look at this figure and Gaithra, you're in your head, you're gonna hear, your god is trapped in a tower in an industrial wasteland. What
As
do
he-
you owe him?
As he speaks in her mind, you kind of see her stiffen. And she kind of does like a glance back to him and then back to Black Blood. What of the Orcan people?
What of them? Some of them, I still hear their call once in a while. They whisper my name in darkened corridors and little basements. What just happened?
My shit just randomly restarted. Sorry. I might have screwed up the cameras because of that.
It's all right.
Yeah.
That's what we pay Andy the big Canadian Tire dollars for. He says they still whisper my name in darkened alleyways and in places out of the way. The ones in the crag still even get around once in a while to making a little blood sacrifice in my name. But to be honest, I'm tired of that. Young me was all over that. That's all I could think of. Little blood sacrifice here, little war there. Was good for the blood, you know? Kind of got the juices flowing, but you spend a few hundred years sleeping, you think things through a little bit. I'm not going to deny them their worship. If they enjoy it, fine. But I'm not tied to it. I was long before they came around, and I will continue to be long after. I simply want freedom.
Do you mean to tell me that even gods in their old age grow soft?
I did not self-apply the term God. You did, my dear. I'm as flesh and blood as you are. Just been around a little longer, seen a few more things. I just happened to arrive here at a time when it was a good time to create, to build. I was not the only one. There are others. But here I am now for all of that. Stuck in the tower. Asking a couple of perfect strangers to please help me.
I am no stranger. I am your child.
In body and blood, perhaps, but your mind and heart don't belong to me. And that's fine. I respect that. I have no desire to force anyone into anything. In fact, if you want the sword and you'd rather not help me, you can walk out of here with the sword. Well, you'll have to go get it, but I won't stop you. Me? Try to stop killers such as yourselves?
Where is it?
I sent it back where it came from, in the tomb below. Yes, there's a huge hole there. It's a mine. Did you think you were going to come to this city and not go down into the mine? A mine is a terrible thing to waste.
Lose points for the pun. I say out of character.
The sword is down there. If you wanted, go back down there, find Shadesong's tomb, and pull the sword out of his coffin as they did a few days ago. It's yours. Walk out of here. I'll find some other people to help me if you don't want what I have to offer.
If I agree, how do I know you'll give me what I want?
Well, there's a level of risk in everything that's worth doing. Really, would you be worse off than you are now?
Wouldn't mind getting rid of the Duchess. She was quite annoying. Either way, we have to go retrieve the sword. Is that right?
Because you're stuck here and you can't get it for us.
Sorry, say that again. Was that addressed to him?
Clavia was asking, either way, we have to go retrieve the sword, right?
Either way. It's just whether you do it with my goodwill or not. Either way, I'm sure killers such as yourselves will have no difficulty.
Well, I had thought to go back and kill her before this conversation, so... But surely you could see that, given that you are all-knowing.
I am certainly not all-knowing. Until you showed up here, I had no clue that you were coming. I just hoped.
You're not really selling it, my friend.
No, you're not.
It's because it's a decision that you have to make. I can't make it for you. You have to come willingly.
You are who you say you are, then you know my people worship no gods.
I know.
We
I'm
recognize
not a
no
god.
gods. True. Clearly not, because they do not exist.
Matter up for debate, but there's certainly none present here right now.
Well, where I come from, science is the only way.
Well, I'll tell you what. I think you perhaps need to talk it out amongst yourselves. Why don't you head on down the tower, make up your minds. Once you have, go get the sword. If you're doing it to help me, I'll know. I'll get you your reward. But think on it. Act willingly, one way or the other. It's the only way to live.
Okay.
Could talk it out.
Noir is like peering just like eerily like head forward above his torso, like just searching this critter. And two things. Is this the body of this creature? Are they even relevant? Is this even a physical corporeal being that is speaking, or is it just this deity speaking through them? And two, what the fuck is up with this necrophage? And like, what's it looking like? Is it keeping this, like, there's something here. Nora's like super fucking curious about it.
It looks very much flesh and blood. It looks very physical.
And it's
he's called the Black Blood. You can imagine that upon seeing him with this black stuff moving under is where he got the name from. So it's probably not the first time that he appears looking like this.
Is it necrophage that is like making these little spots?
Yeah, your necrophage stars tingles.
Okay, so there's necrophage that's corrupted this god's power. Like,
well, he said he created it.
Fucking wild. Okay.
Did you just say that was fucky?
That was it. I mean, yeah, it is fucky.
It is fucky.
It's very fucky.
So do you want to head down and think on it a little bit while we take a break?
Yes.
Sounds good to me.
Let's
So real quick,
yes.
While everybody walks away, Gaithra stands and waits for everyone to leave the room. And she's going to ask what any person would ask when met with their creator. Why? Why the Orcans?
When my people came here, this place was desolate. It was clear there had been life here once, perhaps several times over. Something had happened. The place was covered in ice. My people were fleeing a world that had been destroyed. When we came here, we decided to fix it. We created huge furnaces that drew power from the very core of the earth, warmed it up, melted the ice. Once nature appeared again, we realized two things. One, we were dying. We could not live on this world. And two, it was much too beautiful a place to leave unattended. And so I, priest, was asked to tend to this matter. And I did. Unfortunately, our children did not get along with each other. And my children, which became the Orcan and the Dverg and the humans, fought with the other children, whose own progeny is the Eldrin. And my children were mostly wiped out. The Eldrin, the Aesir they were called, destroyed an entire swath of the country, turning into dust in their quest to eradicate my children. I took the ones that were left and I led them west into the mountains, into the crags. And there we lived for quite some time. In time, some of my children moved into the mountains, became the Dverg. The others stayed in the crag and became your people, and others still ventured south to their own doom because the Necro King was waiting for them there and he imprisoned them and enslaved them. And it took them forever to get their shit together enough to bust out of that. But they did. And all this time, I just wanted for life to be on this place. But time has a way of changing things. You can't create life without creating death. You can't have death without life or life without death. So in my hubris, as I was creating this life, I also created and unfortunately, the two things don't mix.
I see. Thank you.
You're welcome.
She's gonna bow her head at him and exit.
And on that note, we will also exit, take a short break to refresh ourselves. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Don't leave us, please. Don't leave us.
Fucking intense.
We'll be right back. See you in a bit.
Woohoo!
Well, that was weird. Hi, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for hanging out. So nice of you to stay behind and watch our weirdness unfold. We certainly appreciate it. Just before we went and refreshed ourselves, the players were having a quite intense discussion with a creature calling himself Erminaz, the Black Blood, who, amongst other light claims, claimed to be the one who created the Orkans and the humans and the Dverg, and who made the characters an offer basically to do what they were going to do anyways, but just do it for him. And in exchange, he would give them fat loots. And he just wants to get out of the city. The characters were all a little bit conflicted about how they felt about this. So we took a moment to go and have a little break. And now, as we return, your characters, perhaps having stopped halfway down, realizing that Gaethra hadn't followed, and fearing the worst, no, probably not, waited for a few moments and then see Gaethra come down, and the four of you find yourselves at the bottom of the tower surrounding this fallen bell, and with a decision to make. What say ye?
You see, as Gaethra catches up with you, that she's very inside of herself. She's very deep in thought and just kind of going through the motions of making her way down towards you.
Touching conversation with your father.
Don't mention her father.
I think this is the time to tread the line and see where we go. I mean, we have to discuss it anyway, Noir. Even she knows that.
I have made up my mind.
Has a lovely reunion swayed your opinion on the matter?
I have insight. And yes.
Lovely. So at least I know where one of us stands. Everyone knows where I stand. Aside of reason and logic, of course. You know, we don't want a good opportunity to go to waste for anybody. How about you, Clavia? You're the one with the most reason to consider any other course of action, really.
Am I? I already am not a fan of the Duchess, and so that is reason enough for me to act on it and get something out of it. So, I'm on board.
Perfect. That was a lot easier than I thought. I thought if anyone had to be convinced of it, it would be you, but I can see the Duchess has made an enemy out of many, many people. Sucks to be her, I guess.
That's certainly her problem and not ours.
Not today, at least.
Oh.
I like brush myself off and kind of stand up at the end of the mine and kind of turn around and kind of look at Noir and be like, hey, I don't know what the fuck you're thinking, but I'm pretty sure you're going to be at least amicable to our desires.
As they've been discussing, Noir, you've been having a little discussion of your own inside your head. As the voices said, well, not inconsequential. This creature is of no real concern to you right now. You may perhaps wish to accomplish your original mission, if only to be rid of that, but I think, well, perhaps we've found a new home, a new place to dwell. It would be best before we set roots down that we get as many of these annoying gnats out of it. Perhaps help them on their way and expedite things. And then once they're gone, once that thing is gone, you and I can set to bring in order to this town.
Order. Okay, order. What of the sword? What does the sword mean to you?
What is a sword to one such as I? I have
What
you.
does the sword mean to me, then?
You don't even like swords.
But it's a very special sword. People want it.
People wanting something does not make it important. It only makes it wanted.
Know that all too well. Okay.
A sword is but a bauble. If it will please them to have it, and it will get them out of our city faster. We have things to do. This place.
Your vision is limited to one city.
Well, the Imperium wasn't built in one day. Do as you wish. And as that voice kind of gets out of your head, you hear Darkath turning towards you and saying what he said a minute ago.
Yeah, Darkath, you just see like just one eye just flick in your direction and then back down, kind of at the ground.
Holy moly.
Oh. We are all in new territory, yes. We bring a backer of sorts into this politic. Who knows how they will play together? And then Noir will do like the most disgusting wink. Like he'll like open his eyebrows up, and then just like you'll see a little shadow push his lower eyelid up to his top one, and then like back down a little bit.
Gross.
Was that supposed to be coy? Or
It was supposed to be charming. I'm a mercenary.
Oh my god. Yep. Back to the mercenary bit.
I've had torture that was more pleasant on the eyes.
Well, you like torture, don't you?
That was cold, even by my standards, though. Please save that for whatever enemies you may have in the future. Jesus Christ. Whoever that may be.
What? I've never heard of that before. What a strange expression.
It's from a book I've read. It was a strange book. Some guy named Joe, a strange name as well. I don't know.
So,
Joe, how exotic.
Bite the foreign tongue.
Scoos, I love you. Like in proper ways.
Let us get down to business.
So,
Do we go for the... Oh, sorry.
no, please go ahead. I was going to say exactly what you're saying.
Do we go for the Duchess to remove her
Yes.
first, or for the sword?
I have a feeling that if we get rid of the Duchess, getting the sword will be significantly easier.
I believe you might be correct.
Makes sense to me.
The sword lives in a place we can just go and get it, and then we can do whatever we want afterwards.
When is anything ever truly that simple?
Well, it's not quite that simple, but it's almost that simple. You hear a voice that you recognize. It's the young woman from earlier, Beharit, who's sitting on a Merlin near where you decimated the 2 troll guards, looking down at you.
Beharit.
Again.
He had me go and put the sword back where it was originally found.
Why did you bring us to the fucking tower?
Because that's what he wanted. You met him. Would you argue with him?
One of us almost did. And I kind of turn an eye over to Clef, yeah.
Well, in any case, they're both sort of at the same place because the sword is where it was originally found. Unfortunately, between here and there is the Duchess. So go find one, you'll find the other.
Convenience.
It's almost as if it was planned by...
By what? By a smokestack? By a cloud of fog? By one of those fucking worms?
I'll let you work that one out on your own. You're a bright being.
Can I cast command on this bitch?
I was gonna
Right
say
fucking now?
I'm about ready to do the same thing, but by all means, go ahead.
I'm just gonna say the word dance.
And she's going to get up and she's going to start dancing. And you will see her hold up a hand as if to signal people not to do anything. And then she's like, can we stop this infantile behavior now?
Yes, please. I grow tired of it.
As she's dancing.
I'll cut the spell.
So stop. Good luck. She turns around, walks off.
To the Duchess.
What was the point of that?
I don't know.
What did she even mean to it? There has to be something to that, right?
Maybe
Or
she was just curious about us.
perhaps, but she seems a bit more methodical than that.
She
well.
wants us, just as Black Blood does, to kill the Duchess.
That's
What
one
if-
angle. Go ahead.
No, Darkath, you go first.
Say she's made a long list of enemies.
Of course she has.
You've met her. Are you surprised?
I can say that I understand her desires.
And this was her wish. And this is how she's getting it from Black Blood.
Well, let's get to it then. Why worry about who we're supporting by accident on the way?
Flavia is already leading the way.
I only don't see how she does not help us if she wants it so bad.
About how long does it take to walk over there? 10
It won't be
minutes or
excessively
so?
long. I'll be like, no, a bit more, but like not no more than like 20.
At minimum, at least 10 minutes, at
Yes.
which I could cast Find Steed.
To make the last 10 minutes go very quick.
I'm just ignoring their conversations at this point so that I can summon my steed.
No problem. So you summon your steed and then make haste towards the mine at the center of town. You get there a good 10 minutes before they do.
Okay.
Clavia. Your steed, by the way, comes from around here and looks a little unhealthy, but does the job.
Unhealthy? It's not like an actual steed. It's a.
No, I know, but it's from here. Like it's,
Why would it be from here?
because you cast a spell here and it kind of draws on the energy here. It just looks.
That's
It
not
looks a
how
little-
that spell works. That's not how that spell works.
Are you telling me, the GM, how the spell works?
As a GM, I would say yes.
When I go play in your game, you can tell me
Alright.
how summon steed works.
All right, fine.
It's fine.
Fight,
It works
fight,
well.
fight,
I'm just
fight,
saying
fight.
It looks evil.
Roll
It
initiative.
looks evil. That's all I'm saying. It looks evil.
Looks evil. Being unhealthy doesn't mean that it's evil. I'll just say. You summon
Ah.
a spirit that assumes the form of an unusually intelligent, strong, and loyal steed.
Could be
And
any one
so-
of us.
Can we?
Yes.
Is it too late to cut Clavia? I'm kidding. All right, fine. Then your horsey that you summon is a beautiful.
Oh no, I want it to look badass, but I don't want it to look unhealthy. I'm just saying. Anyway. Wow, fuck you guys.
You summon a fucking muskrat. All right.
All right, never mind.
Okay.
A
You're-
troll. She's right. She rides a troll into the center of town.
Yeah, you know what? I'm just not gonna cast a spell at all. That's fine. We
No,
can just
your
move on
steed looks
now. No,
exactly-
we can just move on now.
Make
That's
sure you
fine.
mark down the spell slot, though.
Your steed.
I
looks
absolutely will
exactly-
not mark down a spell slot, but I will be leaving the rest of the party in the dust as I just go ahead because I'm tired of the conversations. Clavia is.
It looks exactly like what you want it to look like.
And then some.
Yeah.
Nah,
and-
that's okay. I'm not marking it off. We can move on.
Eventually, you catch up to Clavia after some time, and find yourselves arriving at. There's a rickety set of wooden stairs that leads down into the mine area, as you can see there on the map. When you get down there, you can see that whatever occurred a few days ago, that sort of earth tremor, really stalled operations. You can see that they've stacked a whole bunch of bodies that they've pulled out of the mine over to the side, and they're just kind of covered with tarps right now, and it smells like hell. It looks unhealthy, kind of like Clavia's horse. And as you walk down the rickety wooden stairs, you can see lights and whatnot down at the bottom of it. And there's like a couple of cranes that have platforms attached to them, and that's what they've been using to dig to go down into there. When you look down, it's really freaking deep, and it's kind of messed up because it's definitely like at the center of where the lake is now, and the only thing that's keeping the water from rushing in is this sort of foundation of the monastery that used to be here, that the walls are still kind of standing and they've been repaired to act as a water break, and that's the only thing that's keeping the water from rushing in and filling this mine up completely. The fumes and whatnot that are emanating from down in this place are just super noxious and unhealthy, and I mean, only Noir is not really bothered by them, and Noir's all like, it's my odor. The smell of death in the morning. And yeah, so there's really not a lot of people around. There's some workers, you see like miners that are busy, kind of hauling out some stuff, but a lot of people are just sort of staying away from it. You can see where the edges of the crater are burned from where the magma eruption sort of got up to the edge of it before heading back down. Do you hop the elevator and go down?
Yeah.
As you get on the rickety ass elevator and get lowered and lower down into the bottom of this pit, you eventually find yourselves arriving here. And the first thing that sort of sticks out at you when you arrive at the bottom, and we'll say you're just outside this door here. I'll put you there just to sort of see you, but we'll say you're just outside the door. When you look inside, you see there's a number of workers in here, and also a few guards, but you're seeing sort of very oddly, and the guards are kind of like looking at what appears to be these sort of red, fleshy tendrils, very similar to what you saw in the bathhouse, that have started to sort of sprout around, not coming out of the ground, just sort of really kind of look like they've just started to sort of move and kind of spread about here. And the guards are kind of poking it with their halberds. There's a bunch of workers that are busy, you know, trying to get some of the ore that they can out of here. All the rock here has been burnt and partially melted from that explosion that occurred underground a few days ago. And everything has kind of been rebuilt very quickly. The rickety stairs and whatnot that lead down, everything has kind of been jury-rigged and sort of patched back together to allow people to bring the bodies out and keep the ore moving. As you can see, they're still hauling out some of the ore and stuff that they're mining out of here. But you can see these weird red tendrils that are kind of growing, and that smell that you smelled in the bathhouse, that sort of wet, meaty smell that was in the bathhouse, is starting to kind of permeate the air down in here also. So you find yourself at that entrance, and you do see there's one troll guard there. There appears to be another one deeper here. The miners look at you, but as they pass you, they're really kind of, their skin is sallow, their cheeks are sunken in, their eyes are rimmed and black, their hair is patchy, their skin is dry and cracked, and they're all just kind of hauling these sacks of ores, and they see you and they kind of just move aside and kind of keep going. They got death in their eyes. These miners, men and women, are just completely used and abused as they're hauling this ore out of here. What would you like to do?
I'm so tired of seeing such broken spirits abused. It's kind of pathetic. A whole lifetime of that, and it's an amount to nothing other than living in their own fear. Could never respect it. Are we knocking? Are we asking politely? And also table talk. The Duchess is in the mines area?
Yeah.
Like, she's in here? Okay.
Well, we know where her sword is that she seeks. It was stolen from her after all. So I don't think it will be too hard to get past these guards.
Yeah, we'll just tell her we know what they're looking for.
Exactly.
Very well.
We are on a mission for the Duchess.
Yes.
Let's go.
Gaithra's gonna push forward.
So as you walk in, you do see that this troll is there, sort of poking at this thing. You can probably sort of waltz in if you want, or you can try to take him unawares. What are you going to try to do?
She's just gonna approach the guard. Yeah, she's not. I mean, she wants to kill him, let's be honest, but she also views that as a waste of time on her current mission. She has bigger fish to fry.
So as you approach him, he's kind of poking this tendril, and he's like, what the? And then he looks at you and goes,
You there. I'm here on a mission from the Duchess. Where is she?
She went, do I know you?
No.
Oh, one of those need to know things.
Yes.
No, I never need to know anything. Yeah, she went down that way.
Very well. Come on. Let's leave, everybody. This way.
So you lead them
We'll
down
follow
the
them.
tunnel.
Yeah.
I will follow closely behind.
I will.
I mean, if
Noir's
they're
gonna.
just going to let us in, then we don't need to fight them all.
I haven't fought anybody, really.
So you'll go down the mine, and as you go along, you'll see there's like whatever different passages, different tunnels, and stuff like that. It really looks like this place is pretty wild, but you can kind of make out the area where the Duchess went. And it looks like she went in to this mine with a group of soldiers, as you can see, like a lot of tracks. As you pass the various the miners and stuff, they continue not to really pay attention to you. And by this point, now that you're down in here, any other guards that you encounter also don't really seem to pay attention to you too much. As you get deeper into the mine, these red vines sort of get, they multiply. There's more and more of them. And that smell gets stronger and stronger. And at some point, as you're walking down one of the tunnels and sort of heading downhill a little bit, you hear the unmistakable sounds of some sort of battle or something, a fracas of some sort that's happening further down into the battle. There's people screaming, and you can hear the sounds of weapons, shields hitting shields, swords hitting shields and whatnot, and people screaming, and spells going off. And there seems to be some sort of major combat going down further down the tunnel. How do you approach?
I have two questions about this scene.
Yeah.
Do the visuals on the map match what we're actually seeing? Because I know sometimes, like, maps aren't always exact match of what the characters are seeing. I'm asking about really all this red stuff. Does it look like the stuff from the bathhouse?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all that stuff's in there, and it's multiplying sort of as you go deeper. There's more and more of it, and can very similar.
And these guards, they're not hostile to us presently.
No, once you got in the mine, they assume you're supposed to be there. They're not very smart, so you haven't seen guards for a while either. Like the last 10 minutes you've been walking, there's been almost no one in the area.
So
bunch of smooth brains.
When we when we go down the next level down after we're in this entrance area, the next you assume these larger tokens are the troll guards?
Yeah.
I approach one of the troll guards.
Okay.
On the way as we're hearing all of this, and I say, what precisely is going on down there? Do they need help?
I don't know. I wasn't told there was to be any sort of action, but the Duchess took down quite a number of soldiers with her. So I would imagine that if there was trouble, she'd let us know. But they don't like it usually when we leave our post, so I'm kind of not sure what to do here. Do you think I should go?
No, I think you should stay.
Okay. Do you think I should get help?
I think you should do what you were doing before.
All right. Stand here and look imposing. I got it.
Good. We'll just keep going down till we get to near the shouting. I will look to the rest of the party when we get to an area with less guards, though.
Mm-hmm.
And say, if they're occupied, less or no guards. If there's an area that just doesn't has guards or have guards, like in a particular hall or a particular.
Yeah, you're at a place basically where there's no more. You haven't seen guards in a little bit.
Okay.
There's no activity going on in this part of the mine. You don't even see miners, and it looks like these tunnels have not really been mined. They look like they've just been dug and not really used.
There's nobody sneaking about anywhere that's dressed like Beharit.
No.
Okay.
No.
So I'll
It would
turn
be
to the
hard to
party.
sneak around here. You're like in a pretty tight tunnel, so you
Okay.
it'd be hard to sneak up on you.
Okay. So I'll turn to the party once we're like alone and say, well, it sounds like they're occupied. That could be good for us. So eyes peeled, I suppose, unless any of you have any other ideas.
I could pop this invisibility and take a quick look around, see what's going on inside.
Are we close to the shouting now, but
Yeah.
not that we can see anything yet? Okay.
No, but you get a feeling it's just a question of,
Yeah.
going around the bend or kind of, you're very close to it.
Clavia will nod to Darkath, and that's a good idea.
And as I turn to step away in the direction of it, I kind of it's as if I'm walking through an invisible barrier. Like the right side of me goes invisible, and as I turn around, I just completely disappear. And I just walk through I walk towards a corridor, kind of sneaking around, hugging the walls.
Okay. So as you move forward, the sound of battle and the stench of blood and, offal and meat is just getting really incredibly upsetting. And as you come upon this vast cavern, you see that there are a number of troll soldiers off in the middle, surrounding the Duchess, trying to protect her. You see a number of those red priests that you fought back in the bathhouse. They have with them these two writhing masses of veins and blood and tendrils are just sort of towering over everything. The entire area looks like it was scorched very recently by this whatever explosion or lava flow that occurred, and everything, all the rocks, everything has this scorched look, and the ground is completely wet. And at first you think that it's some of the water that's seeping in from the lake above, but then you realize that it's blood. These two creatures are just dripping with blood, and it's just starting to fill out the room as they're fighting against the Duchess and her soldiers, who are quickly sort of becoming overwhelmed. And as you're taking this site in, you can see the battle's been going on for a while. Like both sides, there's like a number of dead bodies, both red priests and troll guards around it. The troll guards, some of them seem to be getting up again, as you know, they're regenerating. So some of them seem to be getting up again. But these two giant sort of blood beasts are just really kind of tearing through them. Their tendrils are lashing out and sort of grabbing them and sort of inserting inside of them. And as they draw the blood from their victims, the blood just seeps out of them and falls into the ground. So that what you're seeing on the ground around you is just all the blood from all the victims that has been drawn out of them and sort of shed in this battle. And it certainly looks like the trolls are having a bad day of it.
Good.
Does it look like do I see the Duchess in here? I do. Yeah. Okay. Does it look like she might be overwhelmed if we leave this alone?
Yeah, your money right now would be on the red priests.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to quickly slip back and catch everyone up on what I saw. So our friends from the church are here, and it seems that whatever the source of all this blood terrain is, this magic, could be here too. A couple of big old blood constructs, I guess, just destroying everything. And it seems that they're literally growing from the blood of the enemies, which is quite a feat, I might say. But I'm pretty sure that given the situation, if we let time pass in due course, our dear Duchess will become a part of the building too. But we can take matters into our own hands. We can wait, or we can skip along to the sword and maybe lose track of her.
I have a thought. What if we take care of the Red Priests?
See Noir's eyes.
Noir can spread his necrophage.
Our necrophage.
True. Very true. And lull the Duchess into a false sense of security. If she even survives the battle, and if she does, then we can take care of her because she'll be weak and tired. Thoughts?
So you want to spread the necrophage into the blood? That's like an insurance policy?
Oh, that's just for fun.
It's just for fun. Thank you, Clavia.
Isn't that what you wanted?
Yes.
We should all get something nice out of this if we're going to put in the effort.
Such a long walk.
Necrophage as a treat.
You get the feeling that with all this blood sort of all connected, all these blood beasts kind of drawing all this blood, that if you were to get that necrophage in there, like it wouldn't take long for it to sort of spread throughout pretty much everything that's here. And as they're fighting and blood's just flying everywhere, like literally everyone would get it.
Including the Duchess.
If she hangs around long enough and gets blood splashed on her, yeah, for sure.
Oh.
Hold on a second. This is a question from Scoozy to the DM. Does everybody in the party also are they like immune to necrophage, or like if they're in this situation?
Yeah, they're fine. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Good.
I will keep an eye on the battle then, and I will provide you with any updates as necessary, and unless you want to find a blood trail to go corrupt.
Are there like vines like poking out around us?
Yeah. So you start doing the business?
Oh
We can't also spread necrophage, can we?
No, Noir can because
that's
it's
uniquely
him.
Noir's.
I'll
Okay.
let you hold it.
Uniquely Noir sounds like a men's cologne.
I'm gonna
100%.
stab the staff into one of these like tentacles and then just like let it go and be like, Clavia, you can also help if you'd like. It feels good.
All right.
What happens in the mind stays in the mind. So as you're busy pumping the necrophage into this thing, Flizzard, you go and keep an eye out on what's going on. And you arrive just in time to see that they're getting really pressed hard. And as some of the last defenders, the trolls, sort of fall, you see the Duchess using a shadow step power, popping off towards there and running off to the back. She looks severely wounded as she's barely kind of being able to kind of run forward, and she disappears down a little hallway, a little tunnel that's dug on the side, sort of on the other side of this thing, and runs off into that direction. And as you watch, you can see the black spots at first, and then tendrils of them spreading out through this blood on the ground and just spreading out through the entire thing. And the first to get it, you can see the two giant red amorphous blood beast creatures. You can see them starting to turn black as they absorb the blood that's all around them, and this necrophage is going into them. And as they're fighting the trolls and hitting them, you can see that it's starting to spread. And the other ones, the priests also, who are now getting splashed with blood, are standing in it, are getting hit by, some friendly fire and whatnot. You can tell they're getting hit and they're going to get it too. And you can just sense, and this is what's really messed up about the necrophage. And Noir, you feel it more than the others. Clavia holding the staff and sort of helping with this, you feel it too. You literally, as you watch this happen, feel like you're watching something about to feast. Like there is a feeling of exultation that you can feel from this blackness as it spreads, like something sentient that's just happy to finally be let loose and to go in there and to just start spreading throughout all of this. And as you're watching this darkness kind of sort of just coagulate in there and spread through all of this, you realize that if you want, you could probably skirt the outside of the room and make your way down into the tunnel that the Duchess ran off to. Being careful. Well, actually, you don't care. You're immune to the necrophage, so you can step into the blood all you want. But it's clear that this thing is going there, and you get the feeling as you're seeing the necrophage go into those vines and going backwards also that it's spreading out throughout other parts of the city also, wherever these blood red tendrils kind of are. Welcome to being bad guys.
Little bioterrorism goes a long way, you know?
Hey.
I think I tell them where they went, and like I let the party know which way the Duchess left, so that if Nora wants to keep pumping the necrophage there.
I think
which part? I think it's good. Which part of where would you say in relation to this tunnel we're at, like to this bridge where she went? Where, like, are we in a north, west, south?
No, so you would be coming like, like from this direction, basically down at the southwest.
Oh, so the opposite side of the field from where she is.
Yeah, and these guys have sort of moved in as they're fighting into them, so they've sort of liberated the area a little bit. You could certainly find your way around by skipping.
I imagine I'm still invisible, so I wouldn't have an issue, but I tell everyone else that we should probably chase our mark and get out of here.
Yeah, fuck being stealthy. Let's do this. They're gonna get killed by the necrophage anyway.
They're a little busy.
They're a little busy. And if they get distracted, then that just makes them weaker to us. Table talk.
Yeah.
Not because I forgot to do the accent or anything.
You can actually be in this moment and saying that shit.
I
tell them as I start to run. Yeah.
As you start going around here, you notice
see.
something else too. All these little skeletons around there, you notice are miners that were trapped here when the explosion happened and the fire came through and were just basically completely burned to a crisp. Some of them, the skeletons still have bits of clothing, and there's like a pickaxe or something around there, and there's some of them kind of littered throughout the area. So there were miners down here when this explosion that happened a few days ago came through, and they got caught up in it, sort of burnt out. As you follow without too much trouble the Duchess into the next room, you find yourselves arriving in through a small tunnel, an opening ahead of you into a very bright sort of cave.
You've got to be shitting me.
Well, this is complicated.
As you approach the room, you will see the trail of blood left by the Duchess as she ran through here. I didn't prep it because I didn't know if she was going to be there when you guys arrived here. So you find yourselves arriving in this room, and it is very old and looks like it was man-made. It was a bit of a mausoleum, something. The tile is white, pure white, blindingly so, from all the lights of the braziers and the lanterns that are in this room. You can see that basically these people had tunneled in and broke through a wall and ended up in this room. There are remnants, as there are cracks, as you can see in the floor, from that eruption of the other day that sort of shook this room a little bit too. But you find at the center of this room on this horse a statue of a golden warrior on his horse, holding, and here he's holding a mace, but he's holding a sword in the thing, and he's sort of looking over, and behind them, there's what looks like the doors to a crypt that have been busted through, broken down, rubble everywhere, and some sarcophagus that was inside that crypt has been pulled out, and you can see the sticks under the sarcophagus that were used to kind of roll it out of there. And the sarcophagus lies open. As you come into the room, you all feel incredibly uncomfortable, starting with Noir. You really don't like being in this room. It almost physically hurts you to be in here. You can't look at that statue. There's a radiance that's emanating from it that you just can't deal with. Like, you can barely make your way inside this room. The rest of you can, but you're feeling very uncomfortable, very unsettled. You can see that the Duchess was trying to crawl towards where the tomb is, and hasn't quite managed. She's lying on her back, still breathing, but obviously very injured as the blood is sort of pooling out underneath her. And as you approach, underneath the horse statue, you see this plaque that is there that reads, "Here lieth the pale shadow called Shadesong, under the ever-watchful eye of his final victim and vanquisher, the Lord of Light, Othwin. May the souls of his victims now rest in peace." And you can see in the open sarcophagus an old desiccated body that is just kind of curled up in there. And on the edge of it, you can see a sword that is gleaming very wanly in the torchlight of this room. What would you like to do?
Get the sword.
Question. Did Shadesong make the necrophage? Does Noir feel any sort of kinship to this corpse? Nothing.
Probably safe to assume that Black Blood created the necrophage. Right?
He did claim so, yeah.
If he is to be believed.
And nobody inside checked the god that we encountered. We just left it.
The Duchess is lying on her back. She has wounds, and you can see that she doesn't have wounds like, crushed bones or cuts or anything like that. The blood is just freely pouring out of her skin.
Is she dead or dying?
She's dying.
She's dying.
Lying on her back, barely breathing. Blood is just oozing out of her skin, literally through her pores, just kind of pooling out underneath her as she lies there on her back and kind of opens her eyes a little bit and looks at you and, scoffs in that way that she can.
I understand.
Scoffs, even bleeding out? I want you to be clear about this, Bleak.
Like, you finally found the sword, I see.
So did you. And I stab her with Serpent Sting.
No.
Yes.
You gonna try to stop her? You wanna roll initiative, or are you gonna just let it happen?
If Duchess dies, fucking Orkin God
Sorry,
gets free.
I was like trying to get my ass over there. It's fine.
If Duchess dies, Orkin God gets free.
I mean,
That's
do you
what
want to
happens.
double team stab her to death?
I
Alright,
mean,
so let's do this. What do you want to do? Let's go around the table. You each tell me what you want to do, and we'll figure out the order. All right? Because I saw you move your token over there first. So I know you got there. So let's go around the table. Anyone wants to go first? We'll start with Creep, since you're the one at the top here on my screen.
yeah, I was making. I come in the room and I am like tunnel vision on Scoria. And I just instantly make my way around to her. And as I'm looking down at her, I'm in my mind sending like a prayer to my God, even though he doesn't call himself a God. I'm sending out that prayer to him saying, like, I release you. And I wanted to attempt lop her head off with my great axe.
Okay, not a problem. Mandy, you are stepping up and stabbing her, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, if we're not going to retcon that conversation, that would absolutely be what Clavia would do.
Okay.
There's no reason why those things can't happen at once.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's cool. Flizzard?
I'm just gonna watch this happen and be like, and just think to myself, oh, in the service of you. Whatever.
And Scoozy.
Where is Shadesong? Where is this fucking corpse of Shadesong?
It's right there. It's right there in
beneath the sword, like under the sword that I can't look at.
I don't know if you can see my laser pointer. It's yellow.
Yeah, you got it.
Are you scoping that? Are you scoping that? Is your patron talking to you?
No, I don't give a shit about that sword. I give a shit about the corpse of Shadesong. If like, what's this I don't.
You can walk up to the coffin if you want.
Can I make some sort of check to figure out what the fuck this room feels like? Because there's so many energies going on right now. It's radiant energy. This place is a holy blessed chapel, or like tomb, rather. And that's what you're feeling. Don't like that. Don't like that at all. Do I get a sense that what Clavia and Gaethra are doing is going to make it more radiant or less radiant?
You get the feeling that the power here is waning. It's been waning for a while. This place is very old. It hasn't been maintained. The entire city around it has been desecrated. So the power here is waning. And really, right now it's centered around the statue more than the room itself. It's the statue that's radiating a lot of this. Like, you can kind of get around if you want, not by not looking at the statue, not going too close to it. You could get close to the sarcophagus if you want.
Yeah, I want to do that. I want to get as close as I can to Shadesong.
Okay.
Without looking at things.
Give me a perception check while the two of you, Gaethra and Clavia, at the same time, describe how you do this as you both approach at the same time and draw your weapons, and it's clear to you that you both have the same idea. Just describe how you do it.
I think in the moment, Clavia was too focused on, ego meeting ego and there being friction there. And even if she noticed Gaethra doing what she's about to do, just that scoff alone and her intent to seal the deal and actually do the killing, or at least have one of them do the killing, to actually fulfill whatever this agreement is that Clavia hopes to perhaps benefit from. Just that last act of defiance from the Duchess, whose very title simply insults Clavia deepest to her core. How dare she claim such a title when she is nothing but dirt under her boot. And just in that moment, there is nothing else. There is tunnel vision. Like, this dog needs to be put down.
All right. So you walk up and you stab her with the spear?
Oh yeah, no flourish about it. Just finish her.
Gaethra?
As I said, she walks up to the body and she's looking down at it. As she's doing so, she's pulling her great axe off of her back, and she's saying this prayer in her mind. And as she finishes, she just drops the axe straight onto her neck.
And so as the spear penetrates into her chest and your axe comes down at the same time, just lopping her head off, and her head rolls off into the corner, just staining these white tiles with blood. You don't really feel anything happening as far as whatever sort of deal you made or anything like that, but you have done the deed, and I'm taking into account that you've done it, to honor the deal that you made with the guy upstairs. Noir, as you check out that thing, what did you get on your roll?
23.
Right. So the thing that's odd as you approach this sarcophagus is the figure that's inside, this desiccated old corpse, Shadesong, is not lying on its back as you would have expected or something like that, but is curled up on its side. And with your perception test, you find it interesting that there's really no way, with the way the corpse is set up, that it could have been buried holding the sword, for example. You know, you would expect someone to be being buried with their sword to sort of be holding it or something like that. But he's sort of like all crooked on its side. And as you approach and take a look at it, the body has started to decompose since it's been exposed to air, but it's still this old kind of mummified corpse. It's pretty clear to your eye that that sword was very likely embedded in him, and it was pulled out of him. Like, it would have been the weapon that killed him, perhaps, and it was pulled out of him and not found in his possession, merely in the sarcophagus.
Can I put my staff in his hands?
Sure. His hands are all kind of like this, and so you can kind of lay them there, but he can't hold it or anything, which is how you knew that there was no way he was holding onto the sword.
Sure. I just, sorry. Noir does not believe this Orcan god that created the necrophage. Noir is still holding on to this idea that the Shadesong is somehow...
There's no evidence of it on the body in any case, but that might be just because the body is all desiccated. And what are the rest of you doing, as Noir seems to be very invested in investigating this corpse?
I'm going to walk over and hover around Noir, and as he's looking at the body, try to, like, you know, just look over his shoulder, see if I can see what he's pulling in. But then my attention's eventually, when people aren't really looking at me as much, is going to shift over to the sword. And I kind of want to get a gauge of, is this the sword from, like, my assumption is that this is the sword from Othwin. So do I get like a sense of radiance from this radiance or anything like that from this weapon?
You get a sense, a mixed sense. You get a sense of radiance, but also necrotic energy. You can see that the blade is golden, but where the handle and everything else is, there's definitely like some black energy that has kind of, almost like when metal oxidizes, it's kind of changed the color of the metal and the weapon itself. And you feel a mix of sort of both energies emanating from it.
I think I wrap my hand around it and I pick it up.
Can I cast command on everybody in this, on Gaithra, on Clavia, and on Darkath?
Hell to the no.
I don't know.
I'm gonna try.
Can you hit multiple characters?
Wait, I was gonna say, how many
I'm gonna
people
cast
can
it
you
with my
command?
Warlock pack slot, which lets me cast it on 3 characters at once, and those are the 3 that I'm gonna target. And I'm gonna say that's a Wisdom 16 save for all of y'all. The command word is halt.
Wisdom save. Okay.
I think you don't need to tell me if you make it or not. I think that this is gonna be more fun if you don't.
Should I not say?
I won't tell you then.
I think as you say halt,
I'm going to whisper the DM and tell him whether I did or not.
I'm going to tell
halt
him.
is leveled spell, right?
What did it say?
I mean, command's a spell, right? Like a leveled
Command
spell.
is a spell. Command is a.
I think I'm just gonna like instinctively turn around and just tell you, oh, shut up, and cast counterspell.
And I'm gonna counterspell.
All right.
Can you do that? Can you cast the
'cause
command
I
and the counterspell?
I can use a reaction
Yeah.
to counterspell the counterspell with my.
Wizard battle.
All right. So this happens really quickly. The 3 of you feel something trying to affect you. You're not too sure where it's coming from or sort of what's happening. Darkath, you know right away. Like, you look up and you can see fucking Noir, so you know it's him. So you fire off your counterspell, and he's ready for you, and he counterspells you. The other 2, Clavia and Gaithra, you can clearly, even though you don't know exactly what happened because of the rolls you made, you can clearly see now that the two of them are like reacting to each other and that there's something going on there. So I want everyone to roll initiative.
All right.
Just so that we can get an order of who's going to do what.
8. Ooh.
19.
12. Sorry.
15.
So do me a favor and
I got a 12.
click on your character and write on the label the.
Oh, right.
Yep.
I mean, you're a bunch of bad guys. It was always going to end this way.
All right, time to get shit on, you guys. Paladins are hella OP.
A 19 at Gethra. So it's clear that something tried to affect you, and now these two are kind of reacting to each other, you know, like doing their, you know, kind of thing. And what would you like to do?
With command, don't you have to say the command aloud?
I said halt. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I said
think
cool
I-
it, basically.
yeah, I think I could put 2 and 2 together. This whole time I've been harboring deep distrust for not only you, but also Darkath, but we all know that one.
A lovable guy.
There's quite a bit I've seen that I do not like. I especially don't like being told what to do because you're not my dad. And so I definitely saved, and I'm going to make my way over to you and swing my axe on you. As I do this, I'm going into a full barbarian rage. And I lift my axe over my head and I say, "How dare you think you can command me, you foul monster." Ooh.
Go to town.
That first one's a 12. Or wait, no, that's a 15. Sorry.
Well, 15
Okay.
hits.
Yeah. Let's see. 12 damage on the first one.
Is that a magical weapon? Of fucking course it is, probably.
Yes, it is,
Yeah,
right?
it's your
Yeah.
goddamn-
Yeah. We all make decisions, don't we? Second one is a 22. I'm gonna assume that hits as well. That's a 13 damage. And then I get one more attack with my rage, correct?
The what Noir was just trying to make a joke, right? He was going to say, "Halt, hammer time," and then start dancing.
Nobody has hammers here. They all have axes.
And the last one's a 25. And
That also
that's
does hit.
16 damage.
Cool.
Still up, man?
First blood.
Yeah.
First blood has been
Yeah.
drawn.
I did say last session, he's not skin and bones. So yeah, he's still up.
At 15, then are anything else you're doing? You want to do?
No, I'm very focused on.
All right.
I've made a decision in my mind.
Noir.
I'm gonna grab that fucking sword. Are you kidding me?
All right, you grab the sword. As you do a Constitution saving throw.
That's a 17.
Oh,
That's good. You'll take half the damage. So you take 9 points of radiant damage as you grab the sword, and this bright light just sort of explodes from it.
Fuck!
Your hand in flames as you sort of recoil from it. The sword rolls and falls to the ground, and as it does, you can see all of you really, but especially Darkath, because you're staying next to him, you kind of looking at that the golden aura and the radiant energy is spreading from it, and slowly the black energy that was kind of wrapped around the hill and whatnot is starting to kind of burn off. And it's pretty clear to you that this is a radiant sword. It's not It was just bathing for some odd reason, partially in necrotic energy, but it's a radiant sword, and now it's starting to, and it definitely feels of one piece with the energy you're feeling from the statue. So your earlier guess was pretty much on the money. Anything else you're doing, Noir, as you're kind of
God damn it. Everybody's right up in this bitch. All right.
trying to make friends?
No, I'm gonna cast. I mean, was that a free action to pick up a sword or no? Do I get an action to cast a spell, or was that my action?
I will say no. I will say that picking it up would have been your bonus action.
Great. Then we are going to use my. We will Hunger of Hadar. Starting like almost on the edge of the wall up to the northwest, just to get everybody else in that beautiful little circle, except for me. Do you see where I'm talking? Like, okay, let's like right.
I'm going back to the map.
Origins here, so like 20 feet. We'll just get all of everybody except for me.
Like that?
Yeah, absolutely like that. 125% like that.
All right. So what does it do? Right now, nothing. But
it's everybody inside of that circle is blinded, and on the start of their turn, they take damage, and it's difficult terrain, and it's just a really shitty situation.
You can save on the damage, though, right?
You can save on the damage at the end of your turn. The damage at the start of your turn, you cannot.
Okay.
All right. I'm also going to say that, Clavia, because you're right next to the statue of Oathwind, that you can still see it radiating a little bit through this darkness, so you know where it is, and wherever the statue is, the darkness just doesn't get there. So the front end of the statue that's in the darkness is not covered by it, and you can see it a few steps away from you, sort of shining through a little bit.
Okay.
All right.
Also, Scoos, take an additional 6 because I forgot to add the 2+ melee on each one of those hits for rage.
Well,
because I can't read very good. I'm sorry.
I'm still up.
No one ever taught me.
How much damage? Did you say how much damage we take? I'm sorry.
Nothing right now. I think at the end of your turn. And when does
I don't know if any of you know that when Noir looks hurt though, like he just always look kind of fucked up.
You just look feeble all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are you breathing less?
Rotting away.
He's exhaling now.
I feel like the breathing is like very forced. Like he doesn't actually have to do it, but he wants to.
Just saving it for the spells that he has to cast, you know?
Tell us about the spell. When does it do damage, Scoos?
It does damage at the start of anybody's turn that enters that. So like that's 2d6 cold.
Right.
Which
so right now it's Clavia's turn.
Oh God, that's
11
cold. That's 11 cold. I rolled a 6 and a 5.
Okay.
At the start of your turn, and you are blinded, and it's difficult terrain.
Okay.
Except for the.
I will take that. I will take that 11, I suppose. And then I'm obviously going to use the statue as a means to exit this region. Even with difficult terrain, I should be able to get out of here.
Yeah, I'm going to say that if you kind of beeline on the statue. The only thing I'm going to say is give me a d6 roll and tell me what you roll.
Okay. It's a 5.
All right. So you end up on this side of it.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Got it. Understood. Do I have enough movement left to either go around the statue or? Yeah. I'm going to say that, since it was difficult terrain, so you lost a little bit of your movement. I'm going to say that you can get wherever around. Really, I just want to. Oh, I can get there. Okay, perfect. I would like to do that. And this shit's annoying. So What can I cast? What can I do?
Flashlight.
Actually, I would like to... Oh, it's a bonus action. Even better. I would like to cast Misty Stab as my bonus action. And I would like to get behind Noir. And given that it is a bonus action, am I still able to take my attack action?
Yeah.
Perfect. Because I have 2 attacks and I don't feel like I'm done yet. So let's I'm going to use Serpent Sting. That is a 17 to hit.
Yeah, that hits. Is it
okay.
necrotic damage?
No, it is piercing damage. It is a magic weapon. I don't know if that makes a difference.
It all makes a difference. I have so many weird things going on in my character sheet.
It's listed as piercing damage. I don't see any extra anything, so I'm gonna say it's just piercing. So that would be on the first hit, 12 piercing damage.
Cool.
From this magical spear.
You hear Noir go in a very bizarre and disturbing way.
I didn't like that, and I'm gonna stab him again because I do not take kindly to people trying to control me. 22.
Who would have thought?
Okay.
Who'd have thought the villain arc is where the good guys win? Come on.
This is why bad guys never win in these stories.
Who would have thought when you tell 2 strong-willed women what to do, we're gonna turn around and fucking beat the shit out of you.
Beat the shit out of you. That's another 12 piercing damage.
Yeah,
and that is my turn.
I go unconscious.
You drop.
Oh no.
Yeah, I just on the first hit, I'm like maybe trying to give him a chance, but then by the second one, like I'm so into the swing of it that I just straight through the chest.
The hunting girl Adar goes away, I assume?
No mercy.
Yeah.
Noir drops to the ground with that horrible sound. Fliz, do you want to do something that would be in the round, or can we get out of the initiative?
Well, I look at the 2 of them and I just get a sense of like, am I next? Am I like, what kind of vibe? Like what are the vibes here? What's the energy I'm picking up from Gaithra and Clavia?
Gaithra is really focused on Noir. She doesn't really seem to give a shit about you, honestly.
I'm gonna roll a die to see how I feel.
Wow.
Cold.
You're not quite sure.
Okay.
So one doesn't look like she really cares about you. The other one could go either way.
I'm going to just walk backwards as this bloodbath is happening towards me, towards the entrance. And I'm just going to put my hands up and be like, I have done some dirty tricks in my life, but I don't think I've quite betrayed somebody this blatantly. So please don't include me in any of this, and I'm sure we can continue all our agreements as beforehand.
Given that you did not cast the spell, I don't have quarrel with you yet. Should I have reason to?
I'm just as surprised as you are. I try to stop it.
Fair enough. I did notice the spell casting, so.
We try.
I don't take too kindly to being told what to do.
As this is happening, I pick up the sword.
So you pick up the sword. As you go to pick it up, you realize that it's not going to hurt you. But you pick it up and it doesn't, it feels kind of inert. Like it's not going to hurt you, but it doesn't really like you. Okay, you can totally pick it up and it doesn't damage you or hurt you. It just feels like a weapon. It doesn't feel like there's any magic in there that you can connect with.
I looked at Clavia. What do you intend to do with that?
Not sure. Any ideas? Honestly, I
say-
think we should destroy it. But
I believe we might find that quite difficult.
I agree.
I believe that there's a reason we are down here, fetching this sword like a couple of dogs. I believe our fugue. And she looks up to the statue and then back to Clavia. Possibly cannot come down here. Perhaps we place the sword back where it belongs. Inside that corpse. And we seal this mine forever.
We'll have a lot bigger problems with Fugue then. And if we say no and do that, then we're going to run into a whole lot of other issues. But you're right. There's a reason why she needs us here. And I think we both ponder the same theories that maybe this is some sort of key or item used in some sort of ritual or magnitude of power for her to increase.
I believe someone owes us a favor.
True. That is true.
Let's see what we can find out then from Daddy.
Clavia.
You just sorry.
No, you go ahead.
You just see her like lip kind of just do a little like snarl twitch and stare at you.
It's okay to be attached.
If
Then
only you knew the button you were pushing. Or would you like to end up like your friend? And she looks down to Noir and then back up.
Clavia kind of smirks at the prospect of killing somebody else.
Friend is a strong word, and you mistake me for someone who can't stand next to you, as we are on the same mission. Don't take his carelessness for my stupidity or ineptitude. You utter a lot of threats, but at the end of the day, I stand just as tall as you, and if not taller tomorrow. You've
Show
had a
a
good
little
day.
respect, Darkath.
You just threatened me when I said we're on the same team. I think you really need to figure out what the hell is going on in your head.
You constantly push my buttons.
They're so big.
Should we just get rid of him? I don't really like this one.
No.
You and I could be a good team. We don't need him.
Yes, but there's no honor in killing him.
Fair enough.
Let's
After
do what
all.
we need to do. And then we may go our separate ways.
As we all agreed originally.
I look
Yes.
down. I look down at the corpse while this is happening. Like I'm still engaging in the conversation, but I definitely want to look at this thing, this legend, this supposed pale shadow.
Mm-hmm.
Do I notice anything particular about the body? Like, since it doesn't have the sword through it, like, is there a hole from where the sword
Yeah.
was?
Yeah.
So nothing is closed up. It doesn't look like it could be, maybe waking up.
No, literally, what you're looking at is death. This
It's
is
just mummified, disgusting corpse.
whoever or whatever it was in life, however powerful it was, it eventually, like all things, ended, and this is what remains of it.
I think out of all of what has happened during this time with this group, Flavia respects what Gaithra has to say the most. and will place the sword exactly back where it was.
You push it in, it's a little difficult because the body and the time that the sword's been gone has started to, but you get it in there.
But I push it
It's
real
right back in.
good.
And you
is
realize
what
that
happens.
you realize that
Push it.
you realize that basically
Push it real good.
the way the sword goes into the body, you can kind of imagine, being a warrior and having seen these things, you can kind of imagine that whoever did it was lying on the ground lower, and that this person was leaning over them, and the blow came from the front, but from beneath them.
I think I killed Scoos. I'm so sorry.
You put it back there.
Yep.
Nothing changes. Nothing happens. It slides back in.
What does the vibe of the room feel like? Has that like intensity in the room waned or shifted in any way?
Yeah, when the sword was brought back to its more original state with the radiant energy sort of flaring from it, you can clearly feel that energy is kind of picking up in the room, and the statue seems to be glowing a little brighter, and the sword is glowing, and it feels more uncomfortable than it did before. Like, you clearly feel that this is not, again, you're not taking damage or anything, but you're
Right.
It's uncomfortable still.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look to Clavia and kind of give a kick to Noir's body with my foot and say, this one, what do we do with it? I don't want to risk it coming back.
You have a perfectly good sword. Right there.
Are you talking about the sword and the corpse now?
Yeah. Seems like a pretty final affair.
We could seal him in the tomb.
I have a tinderbox. We could just burn his body. Can't very
Who's your
well.
face?
Can't very well walk away when you're a pile of ash.
This is a good point. I like where your head's at.
I don't think the sword should be moved again.
Neither do I. I think it's where it belongs.
I also think we should put the lid back on the sarcophagus.
I agree.
How easy is it for me to lift this lid with my 19 strength?
The two of you can manage easily.
Yeah.
Strong.
It falls back in place
Yeah.
with a very final thunk.
I will get out my tinderbox and light a torch or something, and I guarantee, I have torches in my inventory, and set the body ablaze.
As soon as you do that,
No trace.
the smoke that burns up in here is just super cloying, and it's like right away making you gag and cough. The body burns, like it catches like old parchment. The fire just rips through it, and in a moment, like, you can't stay in here. Your eyes are watering, you're coughing. Like, this smoke is absolutely horrible. I assume you'll skedaddle on out, climb out that hole, and try to block it off as best you can.
Yep.
And head on out. And that smoke, that cloying smoke, just kind of follows you, and up until the very last moment, as it's kind of following you down the corridor, until it kind of evaporates and you're far enough away that it's sort of become evanescent and kind of disappears. Up until that last moment, you thought you could hear
I'm a little bit glad that your mic cut out when you did that. I heard part of it.
So what will you do? Just give me a brief rundown of what you do. You'll get out of here and head back to the top, or where do your characters head off after this?
I'm gonna stick with Gaithra, so whatever she wants to do for the moment is
as
what
we
I'm interested
move
in.
out of the tomb, I am going to try in my mind to call upon Blackblood if I can.
you'll hear a sound coming as if from far away, and you're not sure if it's in your head or if it's being carried by the wind. But you'll hear, "Thank you, daughter. You're right. The mountains and the forest and the sky do still exist beyond this town."
In my thoughts, I'm going to send to him a prayer for protection from Fugue and ask that of him. And with that, I say that I want nothing more.
You get a feeling of acquiescence.
I'm going to
Or
look to
leave it.
Clavia and to Darketh and say, I feel as though my God answers me and grants us protection from Fugue. Though I think that we need to find some way to destroy this mine to make sure that no one else can get down here. I'm
Are you
not sure
dynamite laying
how.
around?
We have.
Oh no, God! Just give her all the dynamite.
Yes, give me the dynamite. If anybody
This is where
watches,
Clavia finally gets a liver dream from the beginning.
anybody who watches any of my campaigns knows dynamite.
Just one stick.
No, 10 sticks. It's fine.
Today, no matter how we feel about each other, we have 3 secrets today that we've bonded over: Noir, Black Blood, and the truth of the sword. At the end of the day, we're going to be working together for a while, so this protection, of course, is appreciated. And at the same time, I'm going to be like, not having any religious connection, I'm going to be thinking basically really loud thoughts, essentially, of trying to get in contact with him and kind of just being like, I want to learn more necrophage stuff if it wasn't obvious. So, and I'm just kind of hoping for some kind of answer. Like, I'm less likely to believe it's kind of the thing, but I was going to basically tell them, like, we got to figure this out and then get out of here and just agree to a story.
So are you leaving the city? Are you staying in the city to try and accomplish something?
I am going to stay in the city. I am going to look up the kind of, actually, I'm really interested in finding Behemoth or whatever their name was. Behemoth. My intent is to see what other things that we're looking for in the city in exchange for their trust and maybe like teaching young people magic in a corrupt environment. And then to also investigate what power could scare Black Blood off. And I kind of do this, just going my own way. Like, no one's going to know about it, of course. This is just my own machinations.
And Gaithra and Clavia?
At some point, well, I guess probably after everybody leaves the mine, or the 3 of us leave the mine, I should say. Like, I also try to, like, with whatever sense, my, and you can tell me if this is wrong or not, my headcanon of, like, how people who use magic works is you're able to kind of, like, put feelers out for things, like, with your wisdom, your charisma, whatever you cast with, or even not to communicate. And I want to know if I'm going to get what I want now. I want to know if Black Blood is going to make good on his word.
The sense that you get is that you're going to get what you want, but not the way you think you're going to get it.
Fair enough.
There's definitely a power to Erminaz, that the Black Blood, that you feel, will supersede other things.
I think the only question that comes from her mind when she gets that sense is where, meaning, like, where are you?
and trying to reach you mean
Blood.
Black Blood?
I want to know where he is.
You get a sense of you're not going to hear words, but the sense you're getting is going to see an old friend of ours, and then you get a distant, fleeting feeling of shadows and a fugue.
I will keep that to myself for now. I think. I imagine are we? I guess the next conversation Clavi would have is after Darketh parts ways with us. She'll look to Gaethra and say, I imagine you prefer to travel alone.
Where are we at in this point? Is this like post like blowing up the mine, doing that stuff?
We haven't blown up the mine yet. If that's something you want to do.
Oh, I want to blow up the mine.
Yeah.
The mine. All right. So
yeah,
that's what your characters are going to do. There'll be another adventure.
Okay.
But this is like the last few moments that night before you can't just walk in and blow up the mine. But
right.
You know, I'll take that into consideration as I plan the future events of this. But just right now, like in the last moment here, you know, if there are any final things you would like to share or say, or
where are we at? Are we inside the mine still?
You can be wherever you want. You can be in the mine, you can have gotten out, however you feel.
Yeah. I would think maybe her and Clavia are just speaking outside of the tomb that they were just in.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of see Gaethra is in a very deep thought. And as she's standing there, she unravels the braid at the back of her skull. And this is the first time you would have seen it down, and it's very, very long. And she takes the hatchet off of her hip and she holds the braid out and she slices it off and drops it at the foot of the entrance of the tomb. And she turns to you and says, I have made wrong decisions. With this, I cleanse myself. I must go home to my people. I must pay repentance for what I have done. And I must hope with them that I can rebuild my honor. You are welcome to travel with me. You have been a good companion. But I have things I need to do at home.
Do I know enough about work and culture to understand the significance of what she just did? Like, I, the player, get an idea.
Yeah. It's definitely up there. Not every Arcan is that attached to their hair, but you know, from what you've known of Gaethra and everything, this is a pretty profound moment.
Second question. My companion. I'm blanking on her name right now. I'm sorry.
Lucia Nero.
Yes. Do I have an idea of where she's waiting for me? Like, did I agree on a place with her? Like, could I travel with Gaethra to a point and then go reunite with Lucia?
Well, interestingly enough, Lucia Nero is going to be in the next saga. Okay. So that's where she's heading. But you know that she is actually where you guys are. You're in the west, sort of central part. The next land over is the Orkin, and she's just in the north there. So heading in that direction would get you in the direction towards where she is.
I'll stay with Gaethra. I'll travel with Gaethra.
Okay.
I'll tell her about wanting to find Lucha and knowing where I think she is, and if we're both going the same way, us
Yeah, at
two
least for a
strong
while.
warriors should stick together for now.
Awesome. And as the night deepens and the three of you go off to find a place to at least get a bit of rest before you enter into these various personal quests of yours, somewhere deep underground in a dark tomb, there's a voice that resonates with cold menace, but also quite a bit of anticipation that says, good, now let's get to work. And on that note, thank you very much. That was most excellent.
Hell
Everyone
yeah.
all right? Everyone doing okay? Everyone good?
Great.
Yes,
That was awesome.
that was really good.
Are you feeling noir?
Dead as fuck, just like usual.
Are you uniquely noir?
You started the game dead.
Unique
so, you know.
new noir. Unique new noir.
We shall see where all
Two
these
electric
decisions lead down the road. You were all absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. I would like to go around and give you again a chance to tell us who you are, what you're doing, where people can find you before we head on out of there and raid some friends of ours. So please, Mandy, as we did earlier, if you would start.
You made me start again. Oh no. Hi everybody, I'm Mandy, or the Mandy, as you know me all over the internet. I DM, I play games, I do things and stuff, and you can find me on Twitch here in Twitch chat. Like, it'd be cool if you could drop me a follow. I'm trying to get to 1,000 followers. It'd be really neat. So yeah, I am currently casting for my next homebrew campaign that is coming out January. And that's going to be on my Twitter page. There's a link to the Google Form application on there. It's pinned to the top, so you can't miss it. And it's going to be a really good time. It's called Mist Lost, and it's a completely homebrew world. There's also going to be homebrew schools of magic and some other cool things. And one of the people who I believe is going to be cast is also going to be bringing in a homebrew race into the world as well. So we're very excited for that. So it's gonna be a big to do. So if you want to get into a game, apply.
Yes, please do. I'm sure it'll be super fun. It looks really interesting. Anyways, I looked at the stuff that you put out. It looks super great. You're fantastic. So I'm sure it's going to shine. Thank you so much, Manny. I'm super happy that Creep got me got you in this thing, or brought you over here, or showed you the door to come in here. I thought you were magnificent, and I'm super happy you were here.
Thank you for having me. I had so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any excuse to play with Creep is a good excuse for me.
That's the only reason why I do this. I'm just like, Creep, you know?
Now I need both of you to roll initiative.
All right, let's go.
Right, there's only room for one. Breaks the stick. And then... let us go to the Flizzard, the man who will stay behind and, do evil things in the evil city.
Excellent. Right. My name is Flizzard, aka Omar, or Nat6 on Twitter. Played Dark Cat tonight. I had a fucking blast. I still really withheld on some fucked up actions I'll tell everyone else about that I was really thinking about. I wanted to run it by Bleak and see what he says. It was a good time. Hope everyone enjoyed. And I'm sure you guys will see me around randomly on Twitter and then random streams here and there.
Yeah, for sure. It's next Sunday, actually, you and Creep. Blade Runner.
Back at it again.
Back in the saddle. The person who has the distinction of being the second player character to die in my Shadesong Sagas, the Scoos. Although, is he dead or is he not dead? We don't know. It's kind of rough when you die in a city that's basically controlled by your patron.
Seems fucking sus.
Yeah.
Come on, like the whole time, like not ever not sus, entirely sus the entire time. Like
Started at Sus and
y'all knew that, right?
How you feeling about it? You good?
I mean, I would never tell my party what to do, so it's very unusual to do that in character. Like, let's be real about that. Yeah, that was a blast. I'm Scooz News on Twitch and Twitter and stuff. And Noir was a delight to play. And breathe through.
Well, you did breathe life into this character. Scooz is my go-to guy for weird characters, so you'll see him again. Next time I'll give you like, a shepherd somewhere who's just like hanging out and watching his flock. And you'll find a way to break my game with it, so I'm not too worried.
Didn't break anything.
Thanks a lot, Scooz. And last but not least, the inimitable Creep, Darling Creep Show.
Bleak, as always, thank you for inviting me to one of your games. It is a pleasure. You always find amazing people. You always have an amazing story. I loved Gaithra from beginning to end. She was super cool. I almost cried there in the end because I felt really emotionally attached to this character. So that was a really awesome feeling. Thank you for that. I'm Darling Creepshow. You can find me as Darling Creepshow all across the internets. And tomorrow night, maybe playing some D&D over on my channel. Good old Broomhilda Thundercake and the Ghosts of Saltmarsh. So I know everyone misses her after Halloween.
Mm-hmm. I'm
Yeah.
still haunted by that image you put on Twitter with that brush in front of you and the cross-eyed.
In front of me. No, that was Broomhilda. That was not me.
That was Bromilda.
Not me. That was Broomhilda. She was
Totally
here for a
different
visit. I was out doing social club stuff in the woods while Broomhilda was handling the stream. Yeah.
Well,
Handling it.
If you got the help, use it. That's what I
Right.
say.
Yeah.
Thank you, Creep. It's always absolutely wonderful to play with you, and I look forward to doing it again and again. In the future, you always bring a lot to the characters and to what we're doing, and it's fantastic. Love you to bits.
Thank you.
Thanks to everyone hanging out in chat. We got a great chat, tons of people in there. Super happy you guys hung out. Thanks to Andy, my producer. Check out the rest of the stuff we got going. Like I said, we have Saturday night, we have the third part. DM Dave is finishing his third part of a playtest of a CZRPG module, the Skullfort. That's pretty wacky. Also, Sunday we do have Blade Runner with Creep and with Flizzard, part 6 of an 8-part thing. So it's starting to smell like the end. On Monday we have Monday Night Mayhem with DM Madcap. Finishing off is Monsters Hunt game, and next Tuesday back on the wagon with Greyhawk, DM Dave's Greyhawk, where Broomhilda is actually canon now because I brought her in the other day by mentioning her. So, that's
I love it. I'm living for it.
She's in there. She's part of a band. I don't know. It's kind of crazy.
It's so perfect for her. She's just a drunk terrorist, honestly.
Drunk terrorist. I like it. This was Ophidian. Next week, we have a one-shot called First Cut Deepest, where we're going to see a few more things from other sagas that have come before, namely The Return of Clothgilda, and we will see Lucha Nero, the character that Clavia was asking about there momentarily, as this will be part 3 of the 5-part end of the first season. Thank you so much, everyone. Players, absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. You're the reason why I do this. You renew my faith in everything about this hobby when I get players like you doing the stuff that you do. Hang around, folks. We're going to raid -2 Charisma, friends of ours. Give him a nice big Guild Superior shout out when we walk in there. Make yourselves at home, and I will see you all hopefully very soon around these parts. Thank you so much. Have yourselves a good night, and we'll see you next time.